tell me, do you hate me or do you wanna date me? It's kinda hard to tell, cause you're out looking crazy. So why you coming over? Anything but sober. Looking like it's time tonight for a fight or flight. Vampire. Ooh, what you gonna do? She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map, I'll cure you of disease. Let's say we up and left this town and turned our future upside down. We'll make pretend that you and me lived ever after happily. She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map, I'll cure you of disease. Oh, and since we know that dreams are dead and life turns plans up on their head, I will plan to be a bum, so I just might pick out someone. She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I will make you queen of everything you see. I'll put you on the map, I'll cure you of disease. No flask can keep it, bubble up and cut right through. Just someone I believe in. You heat me like a filament. Anytime you're in the room, you burn me and it's smoking. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly in a pool full of your love. But I don't even know how the chemistry works when your bullseye kicking in the dirt, kicking in the sand and stirring up trouble. Can't find an exit, I wander in a maze alone. If I find you, will you shock me? Left and right. Pretty sure that I've been here before, and it isn't what I wanted. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly in a pool full of your love. But I don't even know how the
Your voice like an angel, been chain smoking all month long, like you're someone I believe in. Am I only elaborate? Someone you can test things on. This isn't what I signed up for. I just wanted you to. I just wanted. I just wanted you to. I just wanted. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly in a pool full of your love. But I don't even know how the chemistry works when you're poolside, kicking in the dirt, kicking in the sand, and stirring up trouble. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly in a pool full of your love. But I don't even know how the chemistry works when you're poolside, kicking in the dirt, kicking in the sand, and stirring up trouble. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve slowly.
Yes, I am.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can see us. Hey, there we go. Look at that. We are live. Let me go kill the Amazon music that we had the music there that was fun. That way they can hear you. Thanks, Prime Angel, for the following. Guys, before we get too deep in, can you tell us if you can hear us okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear Melon Baller? Melon Baller, give him a little something.
I'm here. Yep. I'm awkward, but I'm here.
All right. Can you guys hear everybody okay? Tell me how the audio is. Let me know. Yay! They can hear us. Fantastic. What a great start. So, that being said, hello, Kinky Fuckers, and welcome to the beautiful Kinky Fucker podcast. I have a wonderful guest with me tonight, Melon Baller, who is in the big window. She gets center stage.
Hello.
We are still working on some other fantastic people to come, hopefully join some of our lovely podcasts, but obviously Thanksgiving season, you might be stuck with just the two of us tonight, so I hope that's okay. That being said, wherever you came from, I appreciate it. Wherever you found us, I love it. And before we get into tonight's topics, you all know who I am. I am Urban Beardsman, a.k.a. Beast, a.k.a. the Kinky Fucker guy. And I have with me Melon Baller. And Melon Baller, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about you and all that stuff, and then we'll get into some topics.
Hi, I'm Melon Baller. I am biggest on Twitch and TikTok. I also do OnlyFans and just kind of here to entertain people, I guess. I'm awkward, but I promise I'm a fun time.
Which, by the way, you've been doing Twitch longer than I have. Can we say OnlyFans on TOS? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's not an issue.
Sweet.
I've never had an issue with it so far.
Knock wood. Or particle board. So, well, good. So she has an OnlyFans. So do we. The Kinky Fucker, that one is the STL Bells. And the links are going to be popping up through chat while you guys are watching. I also want to give you kind of a little bit of background before we get into topics. So you guys know, if you follow the link in my Twitch profile or TikTok profile or what's popping up in the stream, we have... Oh, pussy. Sorry.
Sorry, you wanted to be a part.
Think we can have that kind of pussy. Tons of fun stuff we're working on. So you guys know we have the OnlyFans. That's great for the sexy stuff. We have all of our socials are in that link. Past that part, I've got 2 things we're working on. The one you probably already know of, which is the Geek Grooming. It is all natural men's grooming products. We're going to work on women later, but men for now. Shampoo and soap and beard oil, keeps the beard pretty, with all geeky scents. And the cool thing is we give back to charity for it. So every bar sold, we're going to donate a bar to homeless shelters. Same thing for shampoo. So we're going to be taking care of them. Right now, the Kickstarter is live. Even if you donate $1, it helps. And if you just share it in social, it helps a ton because we just need to get the exposure. We are going to launch a full like regular store, but Kickstarter is the goal right now. And if you guys do sign up for the Kickstarter and it gets funded, we will have it to you by Christmas. So great gifts in there. The other thing is that I wanted to mention, we have now launched a Patreon, whatever. That is now live in our links on everywhere. And that one has some cool stuff if you want physical rewards. We're doing gift boxes. There might be some naughty stuff in the gift boxes. You never know. But also specifically, we're going to be doing prints and some stuff sent out to you. And for those of you who want to learn in person and meet me or the pretty girls, probably not me. It's okay. We do have 2 tiers that allow you to get to meet us in person. Obviously, there's going to be some vetting and some safety procedures there. We're not just going to show up at your random house in the woods and end up on CSI. But we are going to meet and teach in person. So take a look at the Patreon. So that being said, this beautiful lady and myself are going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff tonight. And we're going to be very matter of fact with you. We're going to hit some topics, and I want her to go on to a few things specifically. And then once we're all done with that, we're going to take your questions. Now, she has to pick up a kitty or a bunny. She has to pick up some kind of animal at 9:30. So we are going to get through as much as we can. And then we'll also take questions after she goes, but we want to make sure and get her in here. Specifically tonight, guys, we want to talk about DDLG because she is a little, and I'm a daddy, so there's some background there. It's also been a common question I've been getting lately about the difference between littles, middles, and brats. So we're going to get into that. We are going to talk segs work, including OnlyFans. So I know there's some girls watching that probably have some questions, and we just want to kind of remove the stigma from it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to take your questions. That being said, I want to give a quick PSA because it affects me, it affects her, and it affects the other creators. Right now, if you guys are not aware, Kink has kind of an epidemic of its own right now. And that a lot of really great creators are getting banned for no reason. And specifically losing account. I mean, hell, she can't even go live anymore because God forbid she had her fucking nipple piercing showing. Oh my God! I thought outline of a nipple on live and I was so offended. What am I gonna do? So, I mean, I hate to be so fucking blunt. But, and, you know, we all know that, hey, like, people shouldn't report stupid shit, and we get it, and that's fine. But there's a bigger problem at foot. Because obviously, if you're watching us, I don't think you're the type who's going to report the pretty girl because you saw her nipple rings through her shirt. I don't think you're the problem. That being said, what I have seen, and you can, I would love for you to chime in on this. There's a large group of creators, kink educators, that are like this gatekeepy community. And they're so gatekeepy that it's not just we want to educate. It's not we want to educate and we want to like shame these people over here that we don't like what they're saying because we are more valid. Now that's all well and good in person. If you're, you know, back in the day when I was teaching kink and I was doing fetish events, in person's a different thing. You can have a chat with somebody face to face and it's not going to ruin what they're trying to do. The problem is with Kink Talk is we already have Walmart, who is God to the world, wants to fucking control it. And what now these creators are doing by falsely reporting creators and saying like, we had one of our choking videos reported for minor safety. All of my partners are 21 and up. So, but somebody on one side of the spectrum didn't like it because we shouldn't teach edge play. And they started reporting the video. Here's what people don't realize. When those videos get reported, it then brings all the hashtags on that video into focus for Kink Talk. So now Kink Talk is immediately getting flagged. She's got 300,000 followers, and I can see her view count from the date when everybody started having a problem. I can see her count go down. Ours is the same thing. In the last 7 days, our views have been cut to half. Now, part of that can be fixed with awesome people like you interacting and commenting and sharing. Sharing it is big. Don't spam like. But also,
do not do that.
Don't
Please
do that.
don't.
That'll kill us. But
Please
also,
don't.
I'm all for supporting creators. But guys, if you see an account that's all call outs, or you think is just really being negative towards other creators, don't support them. Because literally, I kid you not, we had a whole rash there for like a week where a bunch of creators were like coming after us for choking and falsely saying we were doing it wrong, which if you watch our choking videos, we educate the right way to do it. But all of a sudden that got them reporting our stuff for whatever the hell they wanted. And then all of a sudden it brought all that into scope. Nobody knows everything. I don't know everything. She doesn't know everything. We're not here to present to you as we are the end-all, be-all source of kink. But that's how everybody should be. So just kind of be aware of that. But I would love your input and take on any experiences you've had with that, or otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, views have definitely been down. 1,000%. I've had quite a few people just like when I've made my little videos, or I even slightly put that out there. Like I've had many people comment and be like, "Oh, this isn't how littles actually act. Like, not actually part of the group." And I'm like, "Wow, okay,
So
calm down."
You've dealt with the negativity bullshit too.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Ugh, God. So and that's so we're gonna talk into littles first, and that's kind of everybody's favorite topic. And before we get into it, I'm going to make something very clear. I made it clear in a video. I'm going to make it clear to all you lovely people watching right now, and in case somebody sees this on YouTube later, I'm going to say it right in the camera. Littles, or DDLG, has nothing to fucking do with pedophilia. Period. They are not related. Now, I'm sure there are probably pedophiles who might use that as a ruse, but that's not what it's born out of. And that's like a small majority. And also, stop saying that LGBT wants to add pedophile. Pedophiles want to join LGBT. They want to be part of it because they think it'll legitimize them. But those of us who are actually part of those communities are like, no, get the fuck out. So, DDLG is not pedophilic. And also, to be very clear, not everybody, and I don't know your experience, and I want to get into your experiences with it and where it's founded from. But I'm also going to make it clear that just because somebody's into DDLG, or being a little or a middle, doesn't mean they were touched as a child. Okay? Nor does it mean that they wanted to be, none of that. It has nothing to do with that. And I also want, do you age regress or you're just a little? Did you hear that?
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, do you
cut out.
Do you age regress also, or are you just a little?
No, I am strictly just a little.
Okay, so to just touch on that, because obviously she doesn't age regress, age regression can sometimes be brought into DDLG as an overall scope. You know, same thing as like there's 18 different types of rock music, 18,000, it's all under rock. Yes, there are some people that identify with DDLG that are age regressors, but just to be clear, age regression is different than being a little or middle. Age regression is not fundamentally just a kink-related topic, and in many cases, age regression can actually be a form of therapy that has nothing to do with kink. So it's okay if you put it under the banner, but just so those of you know, they need to make sure of that. And plenty of littles aren't even sexual in their little space. Some are, some aren't. But to clarify, age regressors cannot be sexual. Well, they can be, but if you as a dom take advantage of that, you're basically breaking consent. Because in my opinion, littles is kind of role play-y, whereas age regression, they're actually taking their mentality back to that state, which means they are at a mental state of that younger than consent. So if you try to be sexual with somebody who's age regressing, that is super toxic. So I would love to know how you got started in the DDLG. I'd love to know your particular kinks and areas with it. Last week we had the Camilla Lavender on here, and DDLG was one of hers, but hers was specific to aftercare. She was not sexual in little space. She was using it for aftercare. So I'd love to hear your side of it.
Yeah, I'm actually very similar. I do the whole like baby girl daddy thing. I prefer to call my partner daddy. Like that's just something I do personally. But when I am in little space, it is more definitely aftercare than during the actual process. It's just kind of comforting. That's really the whole thing, is I just want to be cared for. And a lot of people like look at it really wrong whenever I say that I even when I meet new partners and I say that I'll mention something about me going into little space, that they will think about it really wrong. People automatically assume that it's all like pacifiers, and they're like, "Oh, do you wear diapers?" And I'm like, "No, I just want to be cared for." Because I didn't have much of that, Like, I'm awkward. I'm so sorry.
No, you're
but
good.
That's just personally me.
And well, here's the thing: is I don't want to bring you on here because you're, perfect presidential candidate. The whole point of the podcast is being open and honest. And yeah, to clarify too, like, you can be kinky or get into sexuality in little space, but a lot of people don't.
Definitely.
And also she mentioned diapers. Diaper play is a form of DDLG also. Not a fan of I'm not in the AB DL thing. Not going to yuck anybody's yum. If that's your thing, good for you. But I would at least like my partners to be potty trained. So if I touched on this with my last series on Kink Talk, but obviously it's a little difficult in 60 seconds at a time. So I would love to see what your opinion is on this. So one of the big questions I have always is the question between littles and middles, because most of my partners would probably identify as middles with little tendencies. And to me, whereas littles are much more about the care, whether it's sexual or not, or spanking or kink related or not, where it's very much more about the caretaking aspect. I feel like the best way to describe a middle is you still have some of those younger type of ideas with caretaking and some cases Disney and et cetera, all these things. But it starts to cross more into that rebellious teenager mentality. And I feel like middles are also oftentimes more sexually aligned than a little. Because a middle, I feel like if they're in that mindset, they're kind of thinking... I always question how to phrase this. So don't worry about being awkward, because I feel like half the time I say it when I'm awkward, because I feel like as much as I say it's not pedophilia, I feel like if you clipped 3 seconds of what I said, it's going to sound really fucked. But, I always...
Difficult to explain.
It is, but I always equate the middle thing to thinking like, or you know what, to be PC, and let's take the age out of it. Kind of like the slutty college student seducing the professor. Like, yes. That's kind of where I identify middles as, is they're in touch with their sexuality more than a little would be. And case in point, like Gypsy and Ivy, my partners, they are middles more aligned. Ivy's more service sub, but they'll still wear onesies, which is typically more to the little side. But they like it because they are inherently corrupting that innocent image into something sexual and naughty and fun.
I mean, I personally enjoy my onesies. I have so many of them. I enjoy them personally.
Are you a little for big girl, or do you use the other stuff? Because I know some people have issues with little for big. I've heard I know they're accused of using underage models.
I have had a little bit of issue just because their customer service isn't that great.
Yeah.
That and some of their clothing is just interesting. But I do have quite a few onesies.
I love ones, and here's the thing: is I think that's where people get the confusion for the pedophilia thing, because they're like, oh, well, she's wearing a onesie, she's wearing a snap crotch thing, like you would change somebody's diaper in. Mm-hmm. But like, for some people, it's comfort. For me, my arousal is like, I know my partner's 21, I know she's legal, I know she's whatever. So the fact that she's trying to play at the end, I think that's part of the fun of it. But it's, to each their own. The biggest thing is that, and I try to make this clear too, I don't think anybody needs to fit themselves into a box. With being DDLG, you don't have to be a little or middle. You can just say you like DDLG, or you know what? You can just like fucking Disney and coloring books and not have to have the title, period. But also to specify, it is a very real kink. I know I've had some people that are like, well, they're a fake sub, that's not a real kink because they're not in the pain or whatever. It's still a real kink. It's still under that umbrella of BDSM. God, I had somebody today that commented that BDSM was all about sexual torture, and
not at all.
DDLG was all about sexualizing young. I'm like, how far off base are you?
That's not even close.
Like, I think the DSM 3 or 4 when I was in psychology, I mean, I got my master's, God, years ago. So the DSM-3 or 4, I think, still classified BDSM as a disorder. It's not that way anymore. But I think the problem is when people hear BDSM and they specify bondage, domination, sadism, masochism. That's all they leave out of it. And they don't realize that it's the same thing as saying, like, pop music, and realizing that under pop music, there's 18 million different categories. BDSM is just a general moniker most of us use, or kink, or otherwise. So we know you're a little. That's your aftercare. What other kinks do you personally enjoy? Like, what kind of stuff can we talk about with them?
I usually consider myself a little. Every once in a while, I am quite a bit of a brat. I do that every once in a while. I am into the whole bondage thing. That's not an issue. I'm more than willing to talk about that. I am into the whole pain aspect. Like we've said before, I am a absolute submissive. Like, I do not want to, like, disappoint my dom whatsoever. I do what I am told. But
you know, it's funny. We actually, I had a video. I was talking about getting videos pulled. I did a 6-part or 8-part series on Dom Sub, and it's literally just me talking like this. And one of them got pulled for adult nudity and sexual content. And I'm like, first of all, I'm in a t-shirt. I don't know where no nudity, and there was no sexual content, and it was the brat one. It was funny because it was the one that everybody loved. Because I broke it down in like littles, middles, and I said everybody's favorite topic, brats. And the brats one, of course, is the one that got fucking pulled.
Oh, yeah.
So you cross over into Primal at all?
I have not experimented with it personally.
So the Primal thing I always ask is, like, if you're a brat, typically that tends to cross over a little bit. The turkey video I did, the one that you touched on, part of the reason why I did that way is... Primal, for me, I go very much into the animalistic bit of sense and tastes of my partner. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to have fun with this, and I'm going to make it where it sounds very much like a scent and taste thing. And then if TikTok bans it, I can be like, it was about a fucking turkey. What's your problem? And try to go that way. So, pain...
Yeah, no, I never really knew what that was called. But when I do mess around with being bratty, that's my absolute goal, is to get my dom angry at me and just completely just go all out. That is, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Almost are you delving into the CNC at that point, the consensual non-consent stuff, or just...
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. And also to clarify, CNC is not rape, because CNC is still a negotiated dynamic, meaning there's consent given beforehand. The key word of CNC is consensual non-consent.
That's what safe words are for.
Yes. Safe words are valid. You know what? We had a discussion with this on Camilla, and I'd love your opinion on it. Are you a stoplight girl, or are you a pineapple girl?
Pineapple.
Okay. Is there a reason you like pineapple over stoplight?
I don't know. It really depends on the day. It really does. So, like, sometimes if I say my safe word, like, I want you off of me. You've done something wrong. I'm done. You've triggered something. But other times I, like, don't want you to stop. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, that's part of the reason why we use the stoplight system. Especially, so I don't know what level of pain play you've gotten into, but we have, well... Some of my partners I play very heavy with. I joke often that Ivy is inherently a pussy. God love her in the best of ways, but she's an amazing service sub. She's very affectionate, but her pain tolerance is trash, which doesn't make her less of a sub. It's just that's not her kink. Versus Gypsy and Alice have both gone through my initiation, where we do the goal is to get 8 of every toy. Very few of partners I've had have made it, because it's a total of 14 toys, and some of them are very heavy. But Gypsy made it through, and so did Alice. The yellow and red specifically in those type of cases, though, I always explain this. Hey, yellow is like I need a breath, I need a glass of water, I need you to slow down for just a minute. Whereas red is my leg fell off, you triggered something, like you said, you know, it's like that's a fucking stop, like period, 100%, get the fuck off me.
Well, it takes quite a lot for me to save my safe word.
Good.
Like, I rarely ever say it. If I say it, it's
an
stop.
emergency.
Like,
Something.
I'm done. I'm done.
And for those of you watching, either or works. Whatever you guys want to do. I always like to ask people the question because part of the reason why we do this, why this discussion kind of goes this way is, and why it's okay to be awkward and everything else is, this podcast is, yes, to be educational, and that's where the questions come in, but it's also because I want to normalize all of this for people. We need to stop kink being a CSI subject or this taboo thing, because that's how we stop Kink Talk from getting banned. That's how we stop laws from being affected. For those of you that are watching that maybe didn't watch last week, you cannot legally actually consent to BDSM in the legal sense. What I mean by that is, if, for instance, her and I were to do a scene and I beat the fuck out of her, one of two things could happen. She could just say, I didn't agree to it, and I'm fucked, whether she agreed to it or not. Or B, if the wrong prosecutor gets a hold of something, they can just run with it whether she wants to or not. Which brings up a valid point that I try to make every time we do a podcast. Guys, if you're in this lifestyle, and specifically if you are into pain play and marks, be honest with the people you have to be honest with. That doesn't mean you have to out yourself to family. Doesn't mean you have to go to Thanksgiving Thursday and be like, I like getting hit with belts. It's my favorite fucking thing. And you don't have to do that. But in the off chance that, like, you have to go to the hospital for something unrelated and they see marks. I've ran into this. My ex-wife and I, we had to go to the hospital for something unrelated. She had marks all over, and the nurse literally looked at me like she was going to fucking grab a scalpel and stab me and said, "What the fuck are these marks from?" And my ex-wife, without missing a beat, went, "Fun." And all of a sudden she went, "Okay." You've got to be honest with those people. You can't say I fell. You can't be ashamed of it, because you're going to either get yourself in trouble or your partner. The same thing as we've had partners that, I've had a partner that the cops got called one night because before we lived in our current loft, we had a neighbor that was not so friendly down the hall. We were in the same building, and we were doing a really intense scene where she was screaming. And obviously, Ivy's also a screamer too. God forbid, our neighbor must be the most patient person in the world. But I was doing a heavy pain play session, and the girl was screaming, and the cop showed up right after we got done and said, "Yeah, we had complaints of a woman being tortured." And I'm like,
my goodness.
Oh, fuck. And I'm starting to even stutter myself because I've got two cops looking at me. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to say? And she runs out of the bathroom, which happened to be right by the door, still topless, holding her boobs, just in panties, goes, "We're just having fun," and then bounces off. And these cops turn bright red and fucking leave because they're like, "You guys just keep it down," and left. Had she have come out in any kind of sense other than that, even if she came out and stood next to me and said, "No, we're fine," it could have been a problem. So just be honest with your lifestyle when you're talking to people that are outside perspective. In other words, law enforcement, nurses, etc. People that don't, you're not going to see on a daily business. Otherwise, your privacy is totally fine, but make sure you're safe about it. So you said you had an experience with it. Do you want to delve into that?
Yeah, sure. I've definitely been in that situation. It was with an ex of mine. And the night before, we were definitely like, it was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of bondage involved. And when I am with the right person, I am definitely into pain. So I go a little extreme. So we brought out knife play, and I got into a car crash the day after. So I went to the hospital, and they were like checking me out, making sure everything was okay. And then they looked at my ass and they saw all the knife marks. And she just kind of like looked at me for a second. She's like, are you okay? Like, you can be honest with me. I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I am in a long-term relationship, and we were just having some fun. Don't worry about that whatsoever." And she's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, no. I promise it's okay." I am okay. I am not hurting myself. I am fine. He's not hurting me. We are perfectly good. We were just having some fun. That's all.
And that's exactly the way you've got to deal with it. I forgot to ask you to be a streamer. Because I don't know, and if you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. How old are you? I forgot to ask.
I am going to be 20.
Okay. And how long have you been in the lifestyle?
About a year now.
Okay. just to address the elephant in the room for some people, did you start any of that stuff prior to being the magic number? We'll put it that way.
I experimented back
fair
then.
enough.
I wasn't really sure what it was back then. All I knew is like what random things were done, and I enjoyed it. And then I looked more into it, and there's actually a group around here in the area I live where it's a whole community where we can meet up and talk about it. And I went there because I actually had somebody who recommended me to go talk to these people. And that's how I started getting into it and recognizing my kinks. And yeah.
So with your group there, and we won't put you where you live there. I'm curious, do they do play parties or otherwise?
Yes.
Okay. So that's awesome.
I have never personally gone to one, but I do know that they have them.
But do they let you go if you're 18 and up, or do they set it at 21?
It is 18 and up, yes.
Okay, good. So you're only 20, and this is the thing is I love I typically, and no offense to you, I typically don't date under 21. I'm 37. I don't think there's anything wrong with an age gap. I will say that typically 18 to 20 is that kind of age gap or that age range where you might be able to get a really great partner, or you might deal with a lot of not so great stuff. I'm also I'm 100% supportive of people at 18 and above exploring and going crazy. I'm actually more of the school of thought that I think that 18, 19, 20, 21, 20 specifically, or if you can't drink at your own wedding, I think people that try to get in serious relationships, like serious relationships at that point, is crazy.
Agreed.
God, I've had people that like, oh, I got married at 19 and it lasted for 3 years. It was great. I'm like, yeah, but it lasted for 3 years. Like, if you can't drink at your own wedding, that's kind of a bad sign. And I'm glad that they do play parties up there, though, for 18 and up. One of the things that I tried to change when I was about 26, so God, 11 years ago now. Fuck, I'm old. There was still this mentality of if you're 18 to 20, we'll let you come to a munch. We'll let you talk about it, but we're not going to teach you anything.
Right.
And I think that's a really super toxic way of looking at it, because obviously then you're telling people about it, but you're not giving them any insight. So, and the bondage thing. So on the bondage, do you do shibari or do you tie for purpose? Or does your partner tie for purpose?
Both.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I don't say no to a lot of things. I don't have a lot of things that I'm not willing to try.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Back to a couple minutes ago, with the whole age thing, it has been very difficult for me to find partners who are also very in tune with their sexuality.
Yep.
It has been very difficult unless I go higher up on the age scale.
Do you have a max age, or do you have because some people are like, well, I like to date older, but I only go this high or only go this high, or yeah.
If I vibe with you, I vibe with you.
Good answer.
Kind of like the person I'm with now. I've been trying to explain to him like all the different things that I'm into. He has no idea. Like I brought up DDLG to him one time, and he was just very confused. And so like I'm trying to teach him the right ways and like what it all means and everything. So we're working on it.
So that's actually a valid topic, and I'm glad you brought that up, because so being 37, I'm kind of the point now where like polyamory, kink, all of it, I very much, good, bad, or indifferent, on a first date scenario, it's just like, here it is, like here's everything in front of you. This is the whole fucking thing. So I'm curious, like, if you don't mind me asking, like, how long you've been with him, and like, and why, I guess, maybe you didn't get into those conversations, like, initially what your thought process was on it. Because I very much...
So I have only been with him for about 6 months now.
Okay.
Ish. He is a little bit older than me. He's 23. But we just kind of started talking, and it kind of just went from there. I slightly, like, would mention to him, hey, these are the kind of things that I'm into. Because he's he doesn't know it, but he's a very soft dom.
Gotcha.
And it's a little bit different than what I'm used to. But I'm trying to explain to him as best I can, like the different things that I'm into and how to like make the situations better for both of us and not so vanilla.
See, I just
to put it in a term.
I applaud you for having the patience, because that's one thing is like I've gotten to the point now where if I have a partner that's, if they're not into the same, and mind you, my kinks are super diverse. Like I tend to be a bit of a chameleon, and I'm as much of a pleasure dom as anybody else. So like I enjoy giving my partner pleasure, and as long as there's some element of kink, I'm a pretty happy guy. Which is the cool thing about polyamory is I have a service sub, I've got brats, I've got people with a bunch of different kinks, so it all works out. But like if I started dating somebody who's completely vanilla or not monogam or like wanted to be monogamous, I would be 100% from minute one. Like, okay, cool, you're an awesome person, but like, bye.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah, that's actually another slight thing is I also prefer poly relationships. He is not, so that is also something I am trying to get used to. But I really just enjoy him as a person, and I don't necessarily want to give up on him. I want to try to see what happens and if we can come to a compromise, you know?
And I'm totally not here trying to be like, hey, like I'm not trying to knock on him. I want to give people the other side of it. So I'm glad that actually you're on that other side. So when it comes to your poly, is it do you have like an ideal poly situation? So like for us, we are very much kitchen table poly with one male head. Doesn't mean we have a one penis policy. Like Alice has a male service sub. We have a one dom policy, but that's not really my doing. Like I prefer it, but the girls are the same way, just because of becomes a too many chiefs, not enough Indians thing. But we are very much that kitchen table polycule where it all comes together. Like, do you have an ideal situation?
Yeah, no, I'm very similar. I prefer just to have one male. I don't like bringing too many people in. I prefer just having me, the male, and maybe another female. I'm okay with 2 males and maybe more females. That's not an issue. I am definitely okay with that. I think I've done that once. Some issues occurred, but yeah, I'd definitely rather have just the 3 of us.
It's an amazing thing. For those of you who are curious about poly, it's a lot of work, just like kink. The audio on Kink Talk is thank you for the follow, puppers, and the other person I just missed. It's Feeds NC. So being with a submissive, they take more structure, they take more work, they take more communication. Poly is the same thing. Poly can be as great as your best relationship you've ever had, and it can just be multiplied. But there's no magic sauce for it. There's no magic source to find somebody. I mean, Alice and I waded through rivers of bad partners before we found the current ones at work. And it takes infinite amount of communication. Even if there's no jealousy, we have no jealousy, but it still takes communication in not jealousy, but people's own insecurities. The dynamics of the household, especially with BDSM, you've got to make sure that people are all putting in their fair share. We are very much the idea of everybody hustles together. Even God forbid on the financial side, we were joking about this today, that so many people in this world are like, oh God, I got my 2-income household, my family of 4 with my 2 kids. And how are we going to make ends meet? And we're over here going like, we're a family of 4, but we've got 4 incomes. Like, let's kick some fucking ass, man. And that's the great thing too, is there's not, I always say that I'm a breadwinner, but it's not, I don't necessarily do more. It's just kind of the mentality where it's that 50 style household. So you've had some experiences with poly, which is awesome, because I want to get people's questions on that later. And this, I feel like it's a decent segue to get us into the sex work thing. When it comes to kink, when it comes to poly, when it comes to sex work, like how out are you? Like, does family know? Have you had issues with that? Where are you at with all that stuff?
I am an open book. I'm not ashamed of who I am whatsoever. I don't try to hide my job. I'm pretty sure my family has found out, but I don't really talk to my family, which kind of makes things a little bit easier. Um, I know the one family member I do talk to. She thinks that I just sell feet pics for a living. She doesn't know about the rest. Um,
Which
that's all she knows.
give yourself a promo for those watching. What kind of content can they expect to see on your Friends Only?
I put everything. I take personal requests. If there's anything you would like to see, I am more than willing to make content for that. I post for all types of people. I will post. I do post feet pics. I do that because I do have a wide variety of people who want those. But I have no restrictions on what I post whatsoever.
And I'm curious, just because. So one of the things that how the Bells started too was we were doing. We had our poly family, and for a while we were also working with other creators and trying to help them. And kind of having our poly relationship and also having our fun too. We've kind of stepped away from that because it became just too much. But one of the things that I know is like some people do a lot of pay-per-view. Some people do a lot of just like your monthly. Like where are you at monthly? What do you do? Do you do a lot of pay-per-view or?
So I do a bit of both. So anything that is myself is $20 a month. I post all sorts of content with myself. If anybody else is involved, then that is pay-per-view. And I usually just make a post. I'm like, hey, I have new videos. They're either boy, girl, or, whatever. And I will have people pay separately for those depending on what they would like to see.
Totally fair. And see, I think that's fair. We, for those of you who tune into our OnlyFans, what you'll see is, so we're $20 a month also. And God, we've got so much. I need to pull some of the content because some of it's really fucking old. But we've got thousands of videos and photos up. And we've kind of adopted the same thing. It's monthly. And what we actually do is because we have so much shit, we'll post some videos that are just there. Or what we actually end up adopting is we'll do $5, $10, $15 for a pay-per-view. And basically we're like, hey, if enough of you buy it or tip, we'll just release it. And what ends up happening almost every time with us is like, we've got, I think, 630 subscribers right now, which is just crazy, by the way. Like, I didn't ever expect to see that, and it keeps going up. So thank you to all of you who subscribe. But like, if we do a pay-per-view, we'll end up having like 200 or 300 people fucking buy it anyway. It's like, all right, here, we're just going to put it out. Like, it's just, thank you so much. Like, yeah, they kind of paid for somebody else, but we've not had a ton of people complain about it, and also we're not beating them up. But see, I'm glad you do it that way because, man, I've had two different creators now, well, two different types of creators that I've argued with over the years. And part of the thing that I love about our success is, yes, it's great for us, but like, because not everybody can do what you do. Like, you've got a massive following on TikTok. You're doing it right. So good for you there. You're kicking ass on OnlyFans. You're on Twitch. But a lot of people who get started go, well, why do I need help? Why can't I do it myself? Why? It's like, well, because you're the exception. You're not the rule. And I've seen so many girls like, oh yeah, well, I do it free because I've got like 3,000 subscribers. I'm like, cool. How much money do you make a month? Oh, like 500. I'm like, that's why.
Yeah.
Or they go with this mentality of, they treat it like the old premium Snapchat days, and they charge like 35, 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks a video, and they sell like 2.
Yeah, exactly. No, when I do mine, I try to give back to the people who are subscribed to me as much as possible. Like, I think every couple of months I'll put like a promo out for the first 100 people that subscribe, get like 20% off. Or when I do sell videos, I offer them in bundles just because I want to give back. Because the only reason I don't post the videos is because I do have almost 1,000 people subscribed to me, and that's a lot.
Yeah, dude,
I'd rather
way to be.
sell them differently. But I think I only sell them for like $20-$30 for like a minute.
And props to you for 1,000 fucking people. God damn, girl. Way to be.
I mean, that's how I pay my bills.
Hey, that's where, I have a day job, but trust me, that the OnlyFans helps us out so much.
I mean, that's what I do full time. I do not have another job. I just do Twitch, YouTube, my TikTok, and mainly my OnlyFans.
And I applaud you for it. And I applaud you having an open attitude with it. Like, I can't tell you how important that is. And the fact that you appreciate your fans. I mean, you're 20. I don't know. You probably missed the big premium Snapchat days, like 5-6 years ago? Because that used to be the thing, right?
I did premium Snapchat for a while. I did. It was just way too much work to try and keep
fucking
track of
headache,
who was
isn't it?
subscribing, and
Oh my
it was just too
God.
much.
We had
So I stopped doing that. It was. Oof.
We had a partner that was so proud of herself because she was making like $2,500 a month on premium Snap, which is not bad, nothing to sneeze about. But she sat on Snapchat like 8 hours a fucking day.
Oh yeah,
and
it takes up your entire time.
I'm like, dude, like if you just did the OnlyFans the right way and you built your content, you built your following, yeah, you make a little bit less money per, but you're also not spending your entire day. You know, like we do 3-4 photo shoots a month, and then we'll shoot videos as we go, and then we kind of just post as we can, and you know, I mean, let people roll with it. It makes life. You got to be able to live your life too.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, I try to post content at least 2 times a week. Sometimes I get a little distracted, but that's what I try to do. Any single time that I am about to have fun myself, I pull out my camera just in case there's some content there. Any single time. But yeah, I try to be consistent, but it's so much easier. God, so much easier.
That's such a different mentality. Like, that's the biggest thing is that I will say that we struggle with, and you know, solo it might be easier, but like we have to make sure that we don't get too much into the business aspect. Like we try to make it where if we play, the camera's there, and then but there's some times where unfortunately we have to go. Okay, I know we're all tired, but like let's go do something.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of a bummer, but like it's we also, I don't know about you, but like our videos, like God forbid if we laugh or do something stupid, it's all in there. Like we just leave it in. I there for a while I was super big on like, well, I've got a professional camera and I've got my master's degree. Like, let's do super great edited content. We'll do it all 4K and it's all going to be great angles. And then I started to realize that people liked more of the shit where like we were stupid halfway through and started laughing.
Oh yeah. People don't. I've learned personally that they do not care if it is professional. The thing about OnlyFans is I've realized that a lot of people just truly enjoy being able to talk to you as a person instead of like. I don't know if I can say this, but Pornhub, unlike there, where like you can't actually, like it's not actually like another person, like you're just watching somebody on a screen. Unlike with OnlyFans, where you feel more of a connection
100%
with the people you're watching. I also spend one day out of the week going through all of my messages and making sure that I am talking to the people who are subscribed to me.
Well, and Pornhub is terrible. Like, so I had prior to my polycule that I have now, I had some videos up on Pornhub because I didn't care, and I had some partners that were like professional dancers, and they were so marketed anyway that like all that crossed over anyway. So we did one, and we had one that blew up. Like it's still to this day, I swear to God, I have people be like we had partners that we were starting to engage with, that were like, oh my God, I just, you know, double clicked my mouse to your video like yesterday, and they didn't put 2 and 2 together until they met me. Which I thought was really funny. But like we had one video that had 500,000 views or something, I think. We made $2 on it.
Yeah, the pay on there is absolutely horrible.
It's see, somebody just said in the chat, like they think it's good for marketing. It is and it isn't. Because realistically, most people that go there just want to get their quick little, you know, everyday things are getting closer moment, and then they want to move on. The people that subscribe to, you know, fans only are the same people that, you know, are really big on webcam stuff. They want to interact with people. They want to talk to you. And God forbid, even webcam has died off anymore. Like, or for those of you who are interested in getting into sex work, webcam can be great. But one thing I will tell you is that make sure you're looking at your website's contracts. Chatterbait is one of the worst ones. They literally in the
1000%.
contract say like, we can use your image for whatever we want. The cool thing is for creators like us, with fans only, is it's all DMCA protected. So if you buy our shit and you like screen grab it and put it somewhere, it's a felony.
I actually had to bring in a lawyer about a month ago because of something like that.
And keep an eye on Reddit too, because there's a couple groups that I found that I'm constantly reporting where they're like, oh, fuck these whores and you know, how dare they try to sell it, and I hate that mentality.
Oh yeah, there was an Reddit about a month or 2 ago that people kept tagging me, and that people would just take my stuff off of my OnlyFans and just post it on there. And the thing that was pissing me off is the Reddit had more people following it than people who were subscribed. I was pissed. So I brought in a lawyer that I have, that actually helps me with any sort of this, because I had to bring them in with the whole chatterbait thing. Unfortunately, I lost that. But yeah, no, I literally had to sit there and I was like, hey, I need you to shut this down because this is killing my business.
100%. Well, and people don't realize, and this is like, so I'm a firm proponent of legalizing marijuana. I think everybody at this point is. I don't think there's very few arguments against legalizing marijuana. Maybe they're really crazy right wingers, but I think even a lot of right wingers are probably token up.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also a firm supporter of legalizing sex work across the board. And part of the reason being is, frankly, I don't think there's anything wrong with prostitution. I think that if people want to do that, go more power to you as long as it's safe and all that. I mean, Vegas has a 2-decade-long track record of doing it safely and bring a lot of tax revenue into the city or the state. But the problem that people don't realize, I think, sometimes is that when we continue to taboo this stuff, or we give into these incel fucks that think that it should be free or want to insult women who sell content.
Oh yeah, I get so
call
much
it not
of
a
that.
real job. It's like I hate to be super like, social justice warrior, but it's rape culture. It's 100%.
Oh yeah,
like
1000%.
entitled bullshit, and it puts people in danger because the whole thing is if sex work was legalized completely and legitimized, which frankly I hate to say it, during COVID, it saved a lot of people's fucking houses, but it also frankly I think maybe we helped stop the spread because we kept people home because we gave them something to look at, but it gives us more legal. That's the biggest problem is we don't have a lot of legal ground right now with sex work. Even in the case of like
people
you
just
said.
look down on it so much.
Even me, I'm a grown ass man, and I get constantly the attitude of, well, you must be giving them drugs, or you must be doing this, or it's an attack on them saying, well, if they're into this with you, then they're weak-minded, they're whatever, and they're not. I mean, God forbid, Alice is going for her master's degree in psychology. I mean, they're all educated. They're all smart people.
Right.
And I mean, you too. Like, I talked to you the other day prepping for this, and you came across, I actually didn't think you were 20. I thought you were probably mid-20s because you carry yourself well.
I get that quite a lot.
Which is, although I think sex work on Good, Bad, or Indifferent kind of also, I think it matures people a little bit because of the bullshit you have to deal with. And it's but people don't realize either is like, I make jokes about it and I fire back. I'm like, call me a gnome, know what I'm saying? And whatever. But it hurts too. Because, I know I take good care of my partners and I know we have a loving relationship, but I also know that I'm a chubby 37-year-old man. And although dad bods and beards have become more of a thing, there are still girls that, want the lead singer of fucking, Panic at the Disco before they want
Brendan Urie.
Yeah, they want Brendan Urie before they want me.
That man is gorgeous. I'm sorry.
And he is. God forbid I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers. And I don't have a gay bone in my body. I would take his. Vin Diesel and The Rock are also on that list, but that's more because I would just be scared. I would just be like, whatever you want to do, big man, it's okay. Just be gentle.
Just be gentle.
And that's the thing is I don't fault bisexual men. I did a cuckold video once way back when I got started, and I was a dom, I was the bull, not the cuckold. But even just that interaction for me was like, no, good, I can't. It's not a thing.
I mean, at least you tried it.
I did. I did.
You tried.
I did, and I can flat out say that no. It's the same thing as like I have no desire to be pegged at all, and I don't think being pegged makes you any less masculine.
Oh no, not at all.
Just I like a little rear flower. I don't know how we could say that. TOS. We'll call it real dark bud.
I'm
whatever.
not exactly sure what you would call that. To be
I
completely
like
honest.
that kind of attention myself too, but like little things, not. Whatever. And also, like, to clarify for you men out there that like that doesn't make you less of a man.
Oh, no, not at all.
Doesn't make you gay, doesn't make you a sub. Frankly, I've actually, I've brought a lot of, so I don't know about your partner, and I do want to talk more about your partner too. I started in this lifestyle at 15. Good, bad, or indifferent. Back in the day, I was, real sex was the thing on TV. And I watched a lot of it, so I had a lot of curiosity. Good, bad, or indifferent, I found a partner who was 19. who was with a 23-year-old partner, and they had a couple years experience. And back then, the old school adage, and I've had some people disagree with me on this now that it's not the way anymore. But back then, the big thing was if you want to be a dom, you should be a sub first. You should learn firsthand what you're expecting of people. So for 6 months, I submitted, and I fucking hated it. I hated it. I do not have a pain tolerance. I am a big fucking baby. I am the worst for getting tattoos. Like, I will sit still, but I will cuss you out the whole time. My pain tolerance is terrible. For little pain, big pain, I'm fine. I could probably chop my leg off and be fine, but God forbid if you pinch me the wrong way, I want to fucking cry. I took a lot of that and adopted it into my kink. So like my dom that I was learning from was very sensual. So I think a lot of my scent fetish for the scent and taste of my partner, I'll just leave it there because I can't get too much in depth, I don't think.
Right.
Came from, that was one of the things that she started to do as a dom, was tease and denial with that, because she knew my pain tolerance was garbage. So she did a lot of that, and I actually made that now a thing for my subs where we figure out ways to use that. Or like, God forbid, for those of you that, you know what, public service announcement, for those of you who don't like wearing your fucking mask, eat your girl's pussy before you put it on. Be the best thing you did all fucking day. Because then for the rest of the day, you smell your girl instead of your own fucking stank breath. Because being a smoker, that's the only reason why I hate masks. Being a smoker, I hate the recirculating smell of that. So God forbid if I can be with my partner beforehand, it's a much better day for me. And it's so funny because I used to be like, oh, like put some on your neck so I can smell it whenever I want, or I've had them flavored drinks or otherwise. Now it's like, just, you know what, give me 5 minutes, let me put my mask on, I'm fine. So... And I saw somebody on TikTok.
I like that logic.
I'm serious. It's great. Or you know what?
I like that logic.
I have a dare for you because your partner is vanilla. Next time he's over when he's not paying attention, just steal his mask for a few minutes and like go in the bathroom somewhere and just do a little rubby and see if he notices. Because you're either going to be like, oh, I smelled something really great today on my mask. I don't know what it was. And you can just laugh to yourself. Or maybe you'll awaken something in him that you didn't know or he didn't know. Hey, I'm all for being creative. God, and I'll tell you, man, that flavor with a good bourbon or a good beer is amazing. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm weird. But you know what? God damn it, I don't think I would rather be weird and perverted like me about it than the guy that's like, it tastes funny. Like, dude, like you're making your girlfriend choke on your little fucking salami. Like
I truthfully don't understand men who will not go down on their women because I will eat that shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I don't understand how you don't enjoy it.
And the strong, somebody's like, that's a great idea. They're all, ooh, not Old Smokies. What kind of bourbon are you drinking? Good bourbon. Like, I mean, if it's Pappy, just leave it be. It's a $400 fucking bottle. But if it's like a good $60 bourbon, I mean, I don't know about the cheaper stuff. They're all loving,
I can't be in this. I don't drink.
They're all loving the mask idea.
Oh yeah.
But no, I don't get that mentality either. And here's the thing: is like I'm gonna make myself to be a little bit of a hoe today. This will be, you know what? They clipped some shit last time, and I guarantee you this is what gets clipped this time. So I've been sexually active since I was 14. I am 37 now, so it's 23 years. My body count, although I honestly at this point I've lost count, but I will say it's more than 10 times the length of time that I've been active, which to me, I'm sorry, I don't think is terrible. Yes, 200 or 300 partners sounds like a lot, but in 23 years being polyamorous and threesomes and being a bit of a hoe when I was a nightclub promoter, like it's just there. Although, God, I love that TikTok audio. Like the average person has 8 partners, and I'm like, fuck, I was that before I was 16.
I think I actually made a video on that where it was like the average person only has about 7 to 8 partners, and I'm like, oh shit.
Like I wanted to make a video on it and be like, I hit that before 16, and I'm like, no, they're gonna say something about minor safety or something, so I left it be. But I'm just
I'm pretty sure I made a video on that.
I mean, you know what? I'm sorry. I think before anybody gets married, they should have at least a dozen, probably men and women, really, and they should be exploring everything. Because like I don't understand these people that still think that they should wait for marriage or God. I mean, like you're 6 months in and you're working on him with your kinks. Mm-hmm. But I've talked to people, and I'm not shaming any of you in the chat, but like these people that they knew they were kinky and they've been married for like 5 or 10 years and they're just now getting into it with their partner. Like, how in the fuck did you make it that long? How have you had kids with this person?
Horrible.
Yeah, like And we wonder why the myth is that so many women can't come. It's not that they can't come. It's that some jackass isn't taking the time to fucking figure it out. That's really all it is.
1,000%.
There's always a way. It might take a while, but there's always a way. And if you can't do it, there's things that plug into the wall. There's always something. Like, stop making excuses. My God.
Yeah.
Well,
that kind of like what I've been doing with the person I'm with now is like he has realized that I tend to enjoy it more when he brings in some of the things that I have introduced to him, like choking, for instance. He had never done that before until I taught him how to do it.
Now, are you doing a blood choke or a breath choke?
Breath.
Okay.
Breath. I want to be fully out of breath. I love that shit. But recently, like he has even noticed more that when he does that, my climax is just way more than usual.
My husband is pretty damn vanilla. Somebody was saying they've been married since 2007. I wish I'd known the fun that I was having at Ren Fair was kink because my husband is vanilla. Man, there is so much crossover with geek culture and Ren Fair culture and all of that in the kink. It's not even funny. And that's the whole thing is like it. People need to realize too that just because you're not Lord, Sir, Master, Domly Dom with the huge penis or whatever you want to call yourself, walking around with chains and all, doesn't mean you're not kinky. Don't let anybody tell you that you're a tourist or I hate that shit. Like I do not look like a typical. I mean, I look manly, but I don't look like a typical dom. You will never see me making a tick. And I don't fault those guys. One of my good friends, it's another creator. He's very much uber dom with the chains and all that, and that's cool. But it's cool if that's you. If you're just doing it to make a statement, that's where I don't like it. Like, you don't have to be this ideal to be dominant. Now, I'm not a soft dom. Alice joked me once. She's like, "You're not a soft dom." And I've had some people say it because I am affectionate and I am, but I mix daddy and primal and sadist and all these things together. So I have my soft moments, but I also still don't take any shit. But like, guys, if you like to get spanked a few times, you're kinky. It's that simple. If you like a little hair tug on your hair, you don't have to be this super in-depth person to fit into that lifestyle. I will say I'm surprised on the breath choke thing because so we do the blood choke. We've done tons of videos on it. Just because of the safety issue of it, because technically it can be safer if it's done right. Although again, as long as he's not, as long as you can still talk and he's not crushing your fucking trachea, you're fine.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely taught him. I was like, you need to be careful. This is where your hand placement needs to be. This is how much pressure you need to put. You need to be very careful when you do this, but if you do it right, you're wild.
Good. Oh, Tavi just gave me a heads up and said, fair warning, talking about the under. Okay, so I will stop talking about my age when I was doing other things. Thank you for the heads up. See, I don't know TOS. I've not been involved. God forbid Twitch will be like, oh my God. It's like, I'm 37, Twitch, okay? I'm legal. It's fine. She's 20, I'm 37. We're fine. The choking thing, man, is such a hot topic. Like, people are just so like, oh, you shouldn't teach it. But see, like, you're the prime example. Because I hate this mentality of people shouldn't teach you. Because I'm sure you did how did you learn the right way? Did you research or did somebody else teach you or how did you learn?
I definitely researched. I have always known that I have wanted to be dominated. That's just something it's always been like that ever since I started. But I never really got into the community until about last year. I did my own research once I first started hearing about it. Actually, I first started hearing about it on TikTok, funny enough. I was like, oh, this is what it is. And then I started looking into it myself. And then I got into the group that is around here and they taught me more. And yeah, just kind of a mix of both. I prefer doing my own research just because that way I can find different things that because it's not all just one way to do things. There's whole spectrum of way that people enjoy things. So it's like, get to experiment with myself and figure out,
100%. And I always tell people, I implore them, do your own research. There's only so much we can show you in 60 seconds or even in a podcast. I keep wanting to do a full-length choking video on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure they'd fucking pull that quicker than shit.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
But this is my thing. So there's a lot of the creators out there that think that people like me shouldn't teach edge play on TikTok. And my argument with them is that A, it's partially about normalizing it and making sure that people know it's okay. And B, at least giving somebody some kind of insight. Can I teach everything safety-wise? No. You know, and I've had people ask, like, well, what if I have this blood disorder? And I'm like, well, ask your doctor, please God. Like, don't just say it. I said it. Well, Urban Beersman said it was fine, so I did it, and now I'm dead. Like, no. But in the same token, I think that we as creators, you included, you know, we need to give people some kind of information. So at least they don't think it's taboo and then do something stupid. God forbid, I had some lady that was comparing a blood choke to autoerotic asphyxiation. And I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? Like, I'm the first person to say that's not safe. Don't do that.
Right.
It's just a very different mentality. And I meant to talk about this when we were talking about the eating out thing, dining at the Y. I don't fucking TOS. Who knows? To mention this, I'm gonna say it bluntly. Squirt is not pee. Stop saying it's fucking pee. It's not. God, you uneducated. Like, yes, it might have a different scent, but it's not fucking pee. And even if it is, who cares?
It's mostly just diluted water.
At least, you know what? At least women have two different things they fucking do that out of. They're with you, and it's all coming out of the same fucking spot. Dick, stop
and
it.
at least we clean ourselves after
Thank
we
you.
piss.
Thank you. God. And like, and I've had every, that's what I was going to, before I got off my whole tangent on how many partners I've had, made myself sound like a fucking hoe. By the way, no diseases. Woohoo. Never had one, thank God, knock wood. But play safe, kids.
Oh yeah.
But there is, I've encountered every type of scent, quote unquote, in my lifetime, and I don't think I've ever had one that smelled bad. Like, I've had some that smelled stronger than others. I've had some that tasted saltier than others. I've had every kind of inclination you can imagine, depending on what they eat and what their diet was and all that stuff. But like, I've never been like, oh no, like, you know.
I have had 2 of those.
I'm sure they exist. I'm not saying they don't.
2 of those.
But I've never really had one that I just was grossed out. I've had some that were very strong, like very thick in the kind of, which I like because I have a scent fetish, so stronger the better. But like, you know, I just, this mentality of whatever, and God forbid, like, dude, like, she's some woman, or if you're a woman and you're dating a girl, whatever, some person is letting you into their world, into their most delicate part and their most vulnerable spot. The least you can do is be a decent human being while you're there.
Oh yeah.
If you hate it, don't do it again. Don't date them, whatever. But like, you're there. Don't. Be
1000%.
Don't just, you know, don't.
You don't make them feel insecure whatsoever.
No, because you could damage them for, like, you know, maybe it won't be the greatest sexual experience, and if you don't call them again because you don't like it or whatever, like, yeah, it's gonna suck for them. But if you fundamentally like make them embarrassed or feel like shit about themselves during it, that could fuck them with partners for the next 20 fucking years. Now, that's not to say don't communicate during sex. Please communicate. Tell people what you like, what you don't like, whatever. But like, don't go down on your girl and be like, oh, baby, whew, no, bad. That's just, you know, there's degradation and then there's just not great stuff.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things that, and I'm gonna start you off on this tangent here really quick while I grab a soda. But I want you to actually just tell them something interesting about yourself. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I just need to grab a soda. Tell them something interesting about yourself that we haven't talked about yet.
Tell them something interesting about yourself.
Be right back.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Oh no. Oh Lord. No pressure. I don't know. Interesting about myself. I don't know, man. Oh Lord. The pressure. Was the first personal kink? Joking, definitely. Definitely joking. I remember the first time that ever happened to me, and I was like, whoa, what you doing there? And then I was like, you know what? This is okay. I like this. This is okay. I can see the chat. I am picking up my bunny.
Good.
My bunny is at the vet.
Sorry, no pressure there. So,
no pressure.
I just had to get me another ski. For those of you from, I'll say where I'm from. So I'm from St. Louis. I grew up in Southern Illinois. And for those of you who have ever been to Southern Illinois, this soda is the greatest fucking thing.
You grew up in Illinois?
Yeah. I grew up in a little town called Breeze.
Listen, I grew up in Illinois.
Yep, I have no shame saying that I grew up in a very Catholic, conservative town. Ironically, I'm actually super pumped because I just had my meeting Wednesday that hopefully I'll be directing Rent for them this summer. So we had a whole conversation about, I do community theater also, and
Nice.
I've been wanting them to do newer shows because we just did Rock of Ages last year before COVID. I was the lead. It was awesome. We sold out. It was great. As a newer show, because most times community theater, because of budgets and everything else, do older stuff. So I've been pushing them to do Rent. And with COVID, unfortunately, a lot of theaters are closed. This theater's still cranking on and trying safely. They're doing things the right way, but still. So I've actually convinced them now we're going to be doing Rent, hopefully in the summer, as a like a one-off, which to understand how fucked that idea is, I think it's going to do really well because although Breeze is small, it's within 45 minutes of St. Louis, so there's still like big areas around it. But again, it's a very Catholic Trump support. Like there was a Trump rally next to the theater one day that I actually called the cops to get shut down because it was 100.
That sounds like where I am.
Oh god, dude, it was 175 people deep. None of them were wearing masks. I'm like, this is fucking Confederate flags everywhere. Which don't get me started on that. But
Oh yeah. So I don't mind saying this, but I'm in North Dakota.
Okay.
We around here, it is Trump everywhere. Like you drive down into the middle of the town and you will see lifted trucks with Confederate flags on the back and like 6 American flags on the back and Trump stickers everywhere and absolutely ridiculous here.
But up there, they're like, oh yeah, you betcha, Trump's the greatest, don't you know, right?
You betcha, yeah.
You betcha,
North
yeah.
Dakota, eh?
See, I didn't even realize you were in North Dakota because I saw when you texted me, your number was from Illinois, so I assumed you were still.
Yeah,
up
no,
that
I'm
way.
originally from Illinois. I just moved here.
Well,
It's a lot different than Illinois because I was about 30 minutes from Chicago, so like I didn't have to hide who I was whatsoever back in Illinois. Here, on the other hand, a lot different.
Let me tell you, like I'm open about my polyamory and stuff to like the community, but the theater community is different than the overall community in Southern Illinois. And again, I mean, like I said, we're talking about doing Rent, which if you're not familiar, there's a person in there who is trans or well, at least a cross-dresser. They don't know if they ever really specify if she's trans or cross-dresser. She's a cross-dresser, but I think she's maybe transitioning. But there's homosexuality, there's the AIDS issue, there's everything, and like I know it's a big to-do for that community. Although my big point is, A, it's a good fundraiser because it's a newer show that will bring people in. But also, I think that shows like Rent, for those of you who haven't seen or haven't seen theater, it's a very relevant topic for the age we're in right now. As is V for Vendetta, which is really fucking sad. But like, you're 20, so you probably still have a lot of hopeful thoughts. I had a lot of hopeful thoughts. I'm 37. When I was 20, I'm like, oh my God, we've got President Bush and he's anti-gay and it's terrible. And then all of a sudden we had Obama. I'm like, yay, gay marriage. All right, cool. We're going the right direction. And then all of a sudden we've got Trump and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, whoa.
I mean, I don't really like bringing my age into it very often because I did have to grow up very quickly. I got kicked out at 16. I've been doing my own thing since. So I like to think that like I'm pretty okay for my age.
And no, 100%. I will credit you again that you very much carry yourself in an intelligent way. It just blows my mind that some of these issues are still a thing. And like the reason why I say it's relevant is because like Rent's all about fighting for a voice and being seen. And look at what a lot of people have had to deal with under Trump. You have these crazy right wingers that say they're the silent majority. They're not. They're the minority, thank God, and falling more by the minute. But like I never in my lifetime thought that I would see somebody just flat out be like, nope, the election's false. What? Like it's like a cult, man. It blows my mind.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
I don't want to get too political because I'm sure some people are here just for the sexy. So, so let's go back to the sexy stuff. So, because I was curious about this and I wanted to ask it earlier. So you do feet pics.
Yes.
And this is one of the things I talk about a lot. So is feet or having your feet touched or otherwise, is that something that you actually enjoy or you just have pretty feet and you show them off?
I am not a fan of it myself. I do not like my feet touched. I've dabbled in it. I've tried it. I'm not a fan. It's just something about touching my feet that I just don't enjoy. But I do know that there is a large majority of people who follow me who ask for it. So that's gotta cater to my people.
And no, 100%. And I like to have that. And feet's kind of a fair topic. So, like, I don't particularly have a foot fetish myself. On the alternative of that, I will say that aside from my scent and taste thing, like, I always like to call myself a woman fetishist because I don't necessarily break women down in the parts. You know, I like, if they have cute feet, I'll know they have cute feet. If they have pretty hands, I'll know they have pretty hands. If they have great boobs, great butt, whatever, all of that is valid. I think that we as a society need to stop breaking people down into one category. I'm not shaming anybody's kink. If you really love feet, like, go you. But, like, I'll suck a toe. Like, that's fine. Like, because that to me, but that's not a foot fetish thing, but, like, the position's right and everything. Like, that's kind of sexy. Or footsy's fun. But the thing is, the reason why I asked the question is because, and although selling foot pictures to, and not being into having your toes sucked, that's a very different animal than the other topic that I brought up the other day, and I still deal with because I had somebody on comments today. One thing that I don't care for is people who get deep into fetish content, or specifically pro-doms, who don't fucking enjoy it. It's not their thing. Like, foot is one thing, but, like, there was an MTV True Life episode forever ago that said, I have a fetish. And there was two people on there. One of them was a guy who had a foot fetish who met a girl online and, like, had her come to see him, and they were dating for, like, she was there for 2 days. He had her foot tattooed on his arm, which is fucking weird anyway. And he would, like, randomly go up to people in the street and try to pay them to fucking rub their feet. It was weird shit. Fine, whatever. The other one was a pro-dom who in her daily life was vanilla. And I think that also hurts our community because here's the thing. You, on the rest of your content, you actually are a little. You actually are a masochist. You actually like the things you do. I think that the more that people try to just adopt, like, you know, some girl said, oh, I saw a fin dom and she made a bunch of money. I can tell men they're pigs. That works for me. It's not, because one thing's going to happen. You might get money, but you're toxic because you're hurting the community and you're technically taking advantage of somebody. And I hate that mentality.
Oh yeah. No, I've had multiple partners who have, like, come up to me and tell me that they're into one thing, and then when it came down to business, they were just completely not okay with it, but they literally just, you know, and that's one of the biggest issues that I usually have when I'm hooking up with people. It's just like, they'll tell me one thing and then I'll try and they're just completely against it.
Isn't that the
and I'm
best?
Like, okay.
My favorite is I don't have any limits. Oh, really? So you're into this and this and this? Oh, no. Oh, okay. So you're into this and this and this? No. Then you have limits.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I think feet is the only thing that I'm not okay with that I've found so far, but I'm very open about that. So, like, I'm usually, when I meet somebody back when I was single, the first thing, like, when we would talk about these type of things is, yeah, I don't really have many limits. There's not many things that you're going to have that's going to turn me off. I'm basically into almost everything. Just don't touch my feet. Do not touch my feet, and we're good. We're perfectly fine. Don't touch my feet. We're great.
By the way,
I also don't particularly like topping all the time, but I will do it. I enjoy it every once in a while. It's not what I'm against, but, like, I'll do it. You know?
But you already said, too, you're 100% submissive, which is totally fair. By the way, Dean1911 just subscribed to your OF.
Oh, I thank you.
And he said it's more than worth it. So apparently he's enjoying it.
Thank you.
Now, keep both hands on the keyboard, Dean, until the stream's done. Okay?
Please.
Like, I'm glad you're enjoying her content. Enjoy hers and enjoy ours, but enjoy it after the Twitch stream. Okay? Because we need you on our Twitch. And also, too, before we're done, too, I'm going to have you, like, give them your stream schedule and all that stuff so they know how to follow your gaming stuff. You can't make me. No, I can't, because I'm not your dom. So I'll say, please, don't enjoy her content until after the stream. Unless you want to put in the chat something that's really, really great. Maybe you found something that's your favorite. If you want to add her and be like, this is great. I loved it when you...
I have all sorts of stuff on there. Don't judge the foxtail too much.
Ooh, foxtail. I do love... I do love kitty play or fox. Any of that.
I love it. I love it.
So wait, is it a pin on though, or is it a
Oh no,
tail?
it's a plug.
Okay, good. Good for you.
Of course it's a plug. Come
That's
on.
all I ever think of anymore when I see the video. It's like, did you just pull my tail? And they're like, it's real? I'm sitting there going, no, it's not real, but if you pull on it, you might fucking hurt something.
It's gonna hurt. I've had somebody do that to me.
God, if TSA wasn't so hardcore, I would love to go to TSA and go on a flight with the girls with their collars and their cuffs and have like one or two of them wearing a butt plug tail and like maybe one of them have one of the remote vibes in and have them walk through and have it flag it and maybe like, hold on a minute and just start pulling shit out and have the TSA go, oh my God, like, just never mind. Just go.
Never mind, just go. Just go.
We don't want to see it.
Oh no.
Dean said he's loving the fox. Okay, seriously, I'm sending
so glad.
I'm sending you a free trial later, and I hope you do the same for us, and we will.
Of course.
We will massively like your count. My God.
Blue is your favorite color. I'm glad you enjoy the foxtail. It was expensive.
She's a foxy lady. So I want to talk about your partner. If you don't mind, and God forbid, I hope if he watches this, like I don't want to offend him or.
He's, as long as there's not like any major details or any names or anything like that, he's okay with it. He's just a little cautious because he does work a regular job.
No problem. And here's the thing. So I do as well. It's funny because I actually
That's actually one of the first things he said to me. He's like, try to be a little easy if you talk about me. I'm like, of course.
I work. I work with businesses. So I had worked for AT&T, which by the way, AT&T cell phones are great, but God forbid, don't fucking work for them. I'll sometime when I do my own stream, I'll talk about that. But like, I went in the full-on consulting because I've done businesses. So I started business consulting. I got hired by a company that then does like processing and all that stuff, which is cool because it's like, okay, great. Not only can I consult to you, but I can get you all this stuff. And it's funny because I literally just had the conversation with my boss tonight about poly and about the fact that I have 4 partners and the ages, and like we got really in depth with it because I just don't care. The other thing is by the way, I saw somebody saying it froze up. Let me know if it's freezing up for everybody or just
Sorry,
that
give
person.
me 2 seconds.
You're
I
good.
need to kick my bunny out. She's trying to chew on cords.
Oh no!
Hey.
Okay, is it only breaking up for Vixen Shadowfire or is everybody else good? By the way, can I be blunt for a minute? Oh, you just put your.
Okay.
Can I be blunt for a minute and
I'm
tell
so
you
sorry.
that like I know one of the videos you posted, you were talking about a girl that had like the plickety plow, like the big curves, and you said something of like if you looked like that or whatever. I got like no bullshit aside, and I'm not trying to hit on you or anything or without consent or anything else, but like you're fucking gorgeous, just so you know.
Why, thank you.
I'm sure everybody enjoyed watching you walk back away, and I hope that doesn't sound pervy. I'm not trying to be that way. But you're a fucking stunner, just so you know.
Thank you.
All the respect in the world, but no. So it's funny. So I've decided to be very open with it, and I've kind of just said fuck it with jobs well, not fuck it with jobs. Like I still work, but like I've just decided to be open. And I've even said too, my goal actually is going to politics down the road. Not president because nobody would elect me. But I'm hoping to get into the congressional races, either to maybe get elected if I'm lucky, but more often than not, I think I'm going to end up being like a Bernie type of person where I'm going to start the conversation because I would be a Trump style candidate, but on the left side. So like very blunt, very much like fuck you, like oh you wave a Nazi flag, no, you should go to jail, fuck you. I would be that guy. I wouldn't bite my tongue. But, no, the reason why I wanted to bring him up, so I think the situation you're in is one that's very common with a lot of people. Not a situation. I'm sure he's an awesome dude. So if you're watching Sir Broham, whatever, Chief, please don't think anything I'm saying is insulting to you. I just want to have a frank, honest discussion for other people. So one of the things that caught my attention is the 23-year-old thing. And see, the good thing is, in your sense, is he is mostly vanilla and you're bringing him in. I think that's great. One of the issues that I have at the 22 to 25-year-old range And I'm going to say this also bearing in mind that I was 25 with the same fucking mentality, and I've just started to figure it out now. One of the things I hate is these 21-year-old guys on Kink Talk or otherwise, they're like, I'm a daddy. And the reason being is it's okay if you're into the kink. It's okay if you're learning. My only concern with it comes across is that I feel like daddy is one of those things that takes even more control and depth and intelligence and maturity than just kinky sex does. Because, especially with littles, because you have to be a guiding force. You have to be a caretaker. In many cases, and again, not everybody in the DDLG has issues, but like some of my partners have PTSD, not relating to DDLG, but they have PTSD. And I use so much of my psychological background and my medical background and my just experience that has made me the person I am to be a better person. And I fear that there's a lot of times that girls are like, I want a daddy, and that I think there's a crossover there where some people still think like 21-year-old and 37 is gross, which admittedly, I mean, it's a 16-year age gap. I could be her father, technically, weirdly. I don't think of it that way, thank God. And they're 21, but they're like you. They carry themselves very well and intelligently. But like, I think that everybody in the lifestyle needs to be fully aware too that like he is doing it the right way because he's just exploring. He's not coming out and being like, "Oh, you're kinky? Cool, I'm your daddy." Like I think, I think that's a good thing. I want to give him credit for that. That he's
a complete natural too. I also have PTSD from a past experience. But whenever something goes wrong, he is automatically right there, and he is comforting, and he understands completely. He's a complete natural when it comes to it, which is why it's been not too bad.
That's why you're still with him. No, right. That's why you're still in this.
That's why I'm still working on it with him, is because he's a very fast learner.
Well, and see, thankfully for him, you're saying poly, but like it's not like it's going to be a lose-lose for him, because the difference is so you are, and I hate to be this blunt about it, but so you said yourself that poly for you is more like you want a boyfriend and you want a girlfriend and you want everybody to be together.
Yes.
We're a little bigger than that, but same idea. I feel like that's easier to digest because, not that there's anything wrong with poly with two males. That's fine. I'm please don't think I'm yucking anybody's yum. Anybody who's watching, if you're into poly and you want two male partners, it's fine. But I think that at least in his sense, being newer, I feel like that should be a little easier than him, or it might be easier for him, because it's not like because like for me, frankly, I don't think it's cheating unless you're emotionally involved. So if my girl goes and fucks him, I mean, like, we don't really do that, but like, I wouldn't really be butthurt about it. Like if Alice fucked her service sub, I could give a shit. I really could. But I think that emotionally but I also, and maybe this is not the right way to think of LGBT, but frankly, I don't think it's cheating if it's the opposite, if it's a different sex. So like if monogamous or not, maybe I'm weird. Maybe that's the wrong opinion. And like I said, nobody knows everything. But like even before I was in full-on poly relationships, I feel like as long as everything is communicated, not in the open, I don't think that cheating of a member of the same sex as your primary partner is the same as if you're with a partner of the other sex. I feel like it's just a different.
But he's okay with it, and everybody's communicating. I don't see an issue with it whatsoever.
So have you discussed, like, is he open to it? Is it something you're just working on? Like where
it's not something I've really brought up quite yet. Just because we are so early and we are dealing with the other things. Right now we are in a very strict 2-person relationship. I don't even think I've mentioned to him about bringing another person in or about my past poly relationships. I have been planning to do that. It's an interesting conversation to get started.
Well, hopefully I didn't just out that conversation for you if he's watching the stream. I apologize.
Actually, I think he's over at a friend's house that I was supposed to go over with him.
Oh, but I'm sorry for ruining your
No, you're perfectly fine. We're supposed to hang out with them tomorrow too anyway, so it's not an issue.
And I gotta say too, God, I love all of you people in the chat, by the way, because it's funny. Like, we consistently fluctuate between 30 and 40 viewers right now, which I think is pretty awesome. Twitch's bare minimum is like 3 to get affiliate. But what I love about it is that Like, mind you, we fluctuate between that 30 and 40, but man, I swear, like those 20 to 30, they're here the whole fucking time, damn it. They're here for like an hour and a half, and I think that's awesome. So God love all you people for doing that. Appreciate that. So that's, and that's, I think that's a great way to be about it. And I think him being natural is a big thing. That's one thing that I try to impart to people too, is that I think what people need to remember with kink, is that yes, you can teach people. Yes, you can communicate. And yes, if you're very kinky and your partner's not, you can put them into that situation where you can bring them in if they're at least curious. That being said, I think people need to understand too, though, and maybe you can attest to this too, love is not always enough. And thankfully, her partner, who is not experienced with it, is at least natural. He takes to these things and he's learning. That being said, if you have a partner that's just not into it, you can't force somebody to be into it. You can teach them, but you can't force it. And I think that people also need to start being aware of the fact that sometimes you have to cut bait. I mean, the whole reason why I'm quote unquote happily divorced has a lot to do with a different mindset. My ex-wife and I, there was never a lack of love. She was my best friend. But when it came to kink, when it came to polyamory, when it came to life goals, that's where the difference came in. And it went from polyamory to an open relationship where she just wanted to communicate, and then it was, well, do whatever you want. I just don't want to see it, or I don't want to smell it. And that's just kind of like, all right, this isn't healthy. This isn't good. Dean, why can you not sub the channel? I'm sorry. I don't know. You should be able to. Can they not? You've been Twitch longer than I am. Can they not sub if I'm new, or what's the?
If you are not affiliated, there is not a sub button. You
Okay.
can follow. After you reach all of the requirements, then you can get a sub button. But it has to be 30 days. You have to have at least 3 viewers each time, and you have to have at least 50 followers, which I think you're good with that.
Oh no, yeah, we're at like 200 or 300 already, and YouTube's even more. And then it's funny. The first time we actually streamed, I got the email from Twitch, and it went like, it gave you all the categories or whatever, and it hit like 30 of them the first time. I'm like, oh, okay. So basically, at this point, it's just it's just patience to get the rest of the days in. So that'll be easy.
Oh yeah. So like with mine, I only have one more day that I need to stream, and I'll be affiliated.
Awesome. So make sure you guys follow her Twitch, and so that way you can subscribe to her. Which, by the way, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think this is going well enough that if you can plan for it, I'd love to have you back next Friday.
Yeah, no, I'd love it. I'm enjoying this. I was a little bit nervous and awkward at first, but I feel like I'm okay.
Well, and what I would like,
I'm enjoying this.
What I would love for you to do too is, if you, because I've done it on mine, but put out a Twitch, put out a TikTok, and see if there's any creators that follow you that would want to partake. Because I really want to try to build this where we have I want to have a panel. I'd love to get to the point where we have a panel of like 3 or 4 or 5 people. Not where necessarily everybody agrees. Hopefully I'm trying to get King PB&J and the Brat back on here. They're awesome creators, by the way, if you follow TikTok. Unfortunately, they were on last week and they didn't have their internet yet. So it was like they would get about 3 words into a sentence and their Discord would drop out, which, by the way, your internet connection is awesome. It has not broken once.
Yes,
that I've seen.
I pay for beautiful internet.
We try, man. I don't know what it's like there. We in St. Louis, there is Charter, or I guess other places that would be Time Warner, whatever. Then there's the AT&T fiber, and there's another fiber company. But the loft building we're in, unfortunately, you can get Charter, or you can get fucking DSL 18 meg. Woohoo! And we have 1,000 meg internet, but that's download. The upload on it's like 25. The upload is what kills us trying to upload content. Like, it's murder. My 5G phone is faster than my fucking upload speed.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, my apartment came with free Wi-Fi, but I knew that I was going to be streaming, and I have my Xbox hooked up, and I have my PC hooked up, and wanted everything to run smoothly. So I called up the company. I was like, hey, what is the best internet you can give me?
Are you getting the new Xbox? Is that part of the plan?
I am planning, yes.
I'm a PlayStation guy, but I won't beat you up on it.
That's all right.
My only thing about the Xbox, though, like I know that I think actually technically the new Xbox has more processing power than the new PlayStation technically, but what I find hilarious is they kept the same fucking controller, I know it's a running joke on some of the things, but because Linus Tech Tips is one of the guys that I follow, and he said that whole thing because they were comparing it to the PS5 controller, and he's like, just specify this is an Xbox One controller. He's like, but it's the same thing, and I'm like, why would you not at least like slap a coat of paint on it or something? But hell, I don't. We've tried to get the PlayStation 5 now 6 times, and it's been, I shit you not, Walmart. Well, the pre-order thing was fucked anyway. That was Walmart fucked that up for everybody. I found out because I have friends who work for GameStop, and apparently when the pre-order thing happened, Walmart launched it before they were supposed to, and then all the other retailers went shit and scrambled really quick to launch it. But we when it launched on the 12th, they had the 4 times, and then they just did it again the other day. Every one of those times, by 1 minute after the clock, it was in the cart. Like, we refreshed it right at the time frame in the cart, and we have yet to succeed. The other day when it did it, which was just, I think, yesterday, the day before, I had it in the cart. I had it to process payment 30 times, and it kept airing out. I was like, you got to be kidding, because it was so close. So I'm just literally like getting to the point now where I'm going, okay, something's going to work out.
That's how I was with my Switch. That was impossible to fucking get.
And man, I want to buy a Switch. Well, so my goal is I'm going to get the PlayStation 5, and I think we're going to get an Oculus, actually. I
have one of those. They're really fun.
I had a PlayStation VR, and it was terrible. Like, the screen door thing gave me wicked migraines. I've heard better things about the Oculus. And plus, we're getting the digital PlayStation, so I have like 200 Blu-rays that I don't do anything with anymore, and I've got my PlayStation 4 Pro and a bunch. I'm like, I guarantee if I take it to GameStop, I'm going to have like $400 in trading credit and not know what the fuck to do with it. So, where were we at? Feet, good. Polly, great. He's learning. Awesome. So let's go back to the pain topic for our lovely listeners.
Yeah.
What's your toy of choice, and are you Sting or Thud? Do you have a preference?
I don't really have a preference. Like I mentioned, I'm very into knife play. I enjoy that quite a lot. It's very hard to find a partner who is also okay with that.
Now, blood or just tease?
Oh no, blood.
Good.
Whoa.
I will tell you, if you go on Amazon, you can find them. We do knife play. I've got a big machete. I've done scalpel play. I don't much into it anymore because it is a lot deeper. But Gypsy is big in the knife play and blood play, and what we actually found that she really likes. I've got a pair of vampire gloves. I'm not sure if you've played with those before.
Not.
A vampire glove is essentially a pair of black leather gloves that make you look kind of like OJ, which is great. And there's basically, for lack of a better word, there's a bunch of thumbtacks in it. So you can scratch with it or pinch or slap. Super, super fun. And the cool thing about it is so like, case in point with your partner, who maybe isn't ready to drag a fucking knife across your skin, the glove thing can vary pressure, which is fun. You know, with Gypsy, I mean, she's trusting enough where I've put the blade in her mouth and had her bite on it, and it's a big fucking machete, but you also have to be very confident what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
Whereas gloves, you're not going to do permanent damage. You're going to leave some scratches, but like it's not going to, and it'll draw blood. The other thing that we did that was really funny that, ironically, is less rewarding for pain and just pretty for marks. I bought a horse brush. I was on FetLife, and I found a poly family that they all had these really pretty like concentric circle blood marks on their butt, and I'm like, what the fuck is that from? He's like, it's a horse brush, and it's literally like a de-shedding brush for a horse. And you hit it once, and it just gives you like all those circles with the blood. Right. But the funny thing was, my partner, who was all about it at the time, who's the one person who did it, she's like, "This is bullshit. I didn't even feel it." But then I had to edit fucking concentric circles off her ass out of photos for like the next month. But it was fun for the scene because it was just really pretty, but just craziness. So for those of you watching, the reason why I specified Sting or Thud, if you're getting into pain play, there is a very different sensation with different types of toys. And what you will find, and even for those of you who think you may not like pain, it might be that you don't like the type of pain you've experienced. Because you go anywhere from hand to floggers to paddles to whips to canes. There's a whole gamut of toys. And one of the biggest things I can tell you for those of you wanting to explore pain play is to get don't fucking spend $1,000. God forbid. Don't and I love supporting local artists, but I will tell you right now, especially if you're getting started in kink, don't try to buy paddles or anything from a sex toy store. Even if they're local handmade artisans, because here's the thing. You might spend $100, $200, $300 on something you fucking hate. Okay? Amazon, if you dig enough, has a great selection of floggers all the way to stuff. And then past that, Caniac, which I hate giving Caniac any credit because I reached out to them and offered to promote them. I didn't want any free product. I said, could you give me an affiliate code? Can you give me a code where if I send people your way, they'll get a discount? And they're like, no, we don't really need that. I'm like, all right, cool, fuck you. But the problem is their pricing is still super cheap, and they make really good quality products. But the biggest thing I can tell any of you is buy a mixture of stuff, guys. Buy a flogger, buy a paddle, buy a riding crop, maybe get a wooden cane. If you can't afford a cane or find one, the craft aisle is your best friend. You can get a fucking balsa wood fucking rod, kind of the same feeling. Figure out what works. And if you don't like any paint, it's okay too.
Actually, I am an affiliate of Amazon, and I actually have quite a lot of beginner toys on there. So when you go on my Amazon page, you can actually look down and see all the things that I recommend. And I actually have quite a lot of toys on there that I have tried myself that I have enjoyed personally, which is really fun. I enjoy that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to ask you about that. How did you do that? Because, one of the things that we get asked a lot is where the girls got their collars from. Because we do the nice rolled steel collars. And there are companies on Google that if you find them, that, Eternity collar's great, but they're like $150.
Yeah, no, I get most of my stuff from creators that do their own things. Like, there's this one creator on TikTok who I've been following forever. She makes the cutest pacifiers by hand. Absolutely adorable. And I've actually bought from hers, and they are great quality. Absolutely love them. So if I find somebody who is their own creator, I will buy from them. If I cannot find anything, Amazon is my best friend.
So I will tell you, by the way, if you find creators like that, send them my way.
Absolutely.
A, because I want to give them a shout out. B, because one of the things I've started doing with my business consulting, which is really funny because I work for a very mainstream company, and a lot of the people that work there have been there for, 30 years, and there are these old school sales guys. My boss and I joke that they're like it's like the Oregon Trail. They've been there, they've seen it, they've done it, and they're used to just dealing with very typical companies. Where here I am coming in like giving processing and helping people set up who have like Etsy stores and fucking sex workers. Honest to God, like PayPal is the most anti-sex worker fucking thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
And I've gotten like 30 people set up where they can just process their own credit cards cheaper than Square. And like some of these new guys are going to my boss going, where's he getting all these people from? And she's like, he's thinking outside the box. He's setting people up that we've never fucking approached before because he wants to help them. And I thankfully I'm at the point in my career where I can do that. But so if you find people like that, do send them my way. But my big thing is how did you get the affiliate status on Amazon?
So I have a slight addiction to Amazon. I spend way too much on there.
Me too.
But so actually I contacted them and they were like, yeah, no, we can definitely see that you support us fully. So I filled out this whole like application thing. And it took about a month or so and they approved it. So basically all I do is I post pictures of the things that I get off Amazon and I'm like, here, look how awesome this is. This is thing, like actually I posted a picture of my chair when I first set it up. I'm like, this is an awesome addition. I absolutely love it. And yeah.
Yeah, I am hoping Alice does not see that fucking chair because
I love this chair.
Like she's already got the, the fucking headphones and the, all that stuff. Which, by the way, speaking of chairs, don't buy from fucking Respawn. Because I shit you not, I bought 2 of their chairs. Every one of them has failed in the arm. I can yank the fucker off right now. They were really great once, and they replaced one of them. And then 2 weeks later, the same fucking part of the chair failed, where like the bolt just broke through the arm. And like, well, we replaced it once. It's all we do. And I'm like, cool. I'm gonna tell 130,000 people not to buy your shit. So have fun. So
Yeah,
don't
no.
buy Respawn.
Not to push it out there, but Amazon. My
Yes.
chair, my desk, everything, almost everything from my PC is either from Best Buy or Amazon.
I'm an IKEA guy for the desk, but everything else is we
My desk is pink and has like the wire coordinator.
nice. By the way, she has
But
an
yeah,
Amazon
Amazon
wish
is
list.
wonderful.
So buy her stuff. We have an Amazon wish list too. Ironically, we had somebody who sent us stuff that found our wish list through Cornhub, ironically enough, and they're literally I forgot her name. I feel bad, but she said, I've came to your videos so many times that I felt like I owed you something, and she sent us stuff from our wish list. So good for her.
Oh, I have mine set up, and I have people send me stuff all the time. And if somebody sends me something, I make sure to wear it in a post.
And we do the same. So guys, please visit her wish list, buy her shit. Visit our wish list. Most of the stuff on there is for the girls. There's some stuff on there for me if you want to spoil me. We've got some new computer stuff on there because we're trying to build another rig, despite the fact that I've got a beast of a rig, but it's not doing what it needs to do, and I need to go fucking yell at Micro Center and try to get it fixed. So I've got a 2080 in there, and it's an i9 and 64 gigs of memory, which means it should be running circles around anything. But like if Alice tries to run Valhalla above medium, it's like 10 frames a second. It makes zero sense. Now I have the stream is great. I've got no issues there, but just one of those weird things. So I know you've got to go to the get the bunny.
That's all right. Don't even worry about it.
Well, what I was going to say is I do want to go ahead and start letting them ask questions. So if you guys have questions, we're going to start taking those on. So please feel free to ask, and we will fire them off as we can. And also, I was going to tell you, back to what I was saying is, if you have other creators, definitely do give them a shout out, and let us know. Try to get them on the podcast, because I think the more that we can build a strong network of people on this, it's great, especially because I want to find people that are like us, that are younger. I'm not young, but younger and attractive and engaging and real, and aren't going to scare people off. I want to really have frank discussions with people, and really make it where it's a no-holds-barred topic. But I also don't want to get to where there's like 30 people like the Raj show and you can't hear anybody fucking talk either.
Right.
And I would love to appear on
Completely
other
understandable.
people's podcasts too. All right, so Dressabelle. So hubby is into swinging, but is interested in more of a relationship instead of NSA, but doesn't believe in polyamory. Is there some website or somewhere I can go for more information and tie it into his want for a relationship with swinging? So, first of all, I'm not really sure how you can do a relationship without poly. To be honest, I feel like if you're crossing from swinging, then it's a relationship, unless you're just saying he wants constant threesomes, I guess. As far as a website, I don't know if you have any suggestions. I personally, there's not. God, I wish I was a great web designer or great app developer, because there is not a good website for polyamory. There's not a good website for kink either. FetLife's okay, but it's not good for dating. You can get some information there, and there's a lot of fake shit on there. Kink Academy is great for education. You're not going to date anybody there. All of the apps that say they're for kink dating or poly, oh my God, they're either...
It's horrible.
It's bots.
Absolutely horrible.
Or it's a lot of swinging, like Tinder anymore. People are like, oh, I've had great luck with Tinder. That's all unicorn hunting. Not that there's anything wrong with unicorn hunting, but there's really, honestly, God, there's not really a great website. I mean, we met some of our partners through Seeking Arrangements. And I even hate saying that, because I don't like the connotation of a sugar daddy, because most people that identify as sugar daddy or use Seeking Arrangements, they want a fucking prostitute. Which, again, I am not knocking on prostitution. You do you, boo-boo. But that being said...
So, sorry, but I
ahead.
actually used to really be hardcore on Seeking Arrangements. I absolutely love that website. That's just me personally. That is how I found all of my sugar daddies.
It's a great, but the only issue that I ran into with it is that, so like I met all three of my partners there, Alice included. But to find partners that wanted a relationship.
Find actual partners,
Yeah.
That's a lot more difficult.
Because most of the women there, good, bad, or indifferent, are there to find the desperate beta males who want to pay for sex or content or otherwise. And whereas I don't fault that, the only thing I faulted was when they're like, well, you're not a real daddy because you don't you don't want to do this. It's like, no. The difference is that technically the idea of a sugar daddy has nothing to do with prostitution at all. The idea of a sugar daddy, all it used to be was that it was a male, if you're a daddy, typically older, that was more established, that could provide a better lifestyle than what some fuckboy could do. Basically, it's
Absolutely.
For me, the definition of a sugar daddy is like steak versus McDonald's. That's all it is. But some people, and seeking arrangements, unfortunately, has become more than that, and that's fine.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
mostly now it's just basically prostitution, 1000%.
And but that's why I tell people, like, we waded through a river of shit to find our partners, because I found Alice there, and then her and I continued to try to look partners, and it was like, it was funny because like Gypsy, she almost tried to shut us down when I said what we were looking for and who I was, because she tried to go the whole, oh, you're not, you just want the, and I fucking came at her like super, she went bratty and I went super alpha with it, and I said, no, I said, we're trying to build a fucking relationship and a lifestyle and da-da-da, and she's like, oh shit, you're serious. Okay, I'm interested. And it just went off like gangbusters. But yeah, there's not really a great website. I hate to tell you that.
I think I've found one actual good person on that site, and he, unfortunately, he was going through a divorce, so I had to deal with that. But it wasn't just, hey, I'm gonna pay you to do this. Like, we actually went out and got coffee and we talked. And
by the way, I'm just curious. Were you on the site when you were still up near Chicago?
yes,
I probably messaged you at some point because I used to look within Illinois and Missouri and otherwise. I mean, like I said, my other partners are from mid Illinois, so that's probably. I'm sure it didn't. I obviously whatever. I just think that's funny. Somebody wanted to know what your Amazon link is. Ours is in the profile, my people. Are you in the chat where you can give it to them? Like, do you have a link tree or something?
So I have all of my links in my link tree.
Us too. By the way, be careful with that, because we double check. I know it works because I checked your link tree on your TikTok, but be aware that they will shut down link trees every once in a while. That's why we find
they do. I pay for premium, and I haven't had an issue yet.
Good for you. I ended up just buying a Rebrandly link and just rebranded all my links to take it over, and now I haven't had an issue. Knock wood. So there's my link. I think she's typing hers in there, and that gives you links to all the good stuff. So yeah, there's not a magic website. Do your best. As far as website for more information, there's about 1,000 for polyamory, but they're all different. I mean, it really comes down to communication. But what it sounds like to me is that
is all you have to look up. That is everything.
It very much seems like he wants to do. He just wants threesomes, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I would say that's the difference. How do I get the girlfriend to talk about experimenting? She's shy, but she likes the blood choke and spanking handcuffs. I would love the woman's perspective on this, but I would say honestly, just keep trying. Communication in this lifestyle, like anything else, is key. Communication. Especially if somebody's shy, you have to communicate, and also not just communicate that you want to know, but that it's okay to tell you. I feel like that's important.
Agreed.
Any information on blood play with some consumption of blood? As far as I know, you can consume it without problem. I don't think it's toxic at all. I would double check on that, but I've done. Just
be safe about it and make sure that your partner is tested. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Please.
Although you should be doing that before you fuck them too. Really?
Oh yeah, 1000%. But that's a whole nother.
There was a group here that I talked about last stream. That was blackballed from the community, because they had convicted sex offenders in their membership, which is a no-no. But also they were doing open blood play with people with HIV, and that's a big no-no.
Oh no.
Yeah, we don't do that. But no, realistically, as long as your partner's tested, I think it's fine. My only thing that I don't know enough about, and you might want to ask a doctor, if they have one of the blood types that conflicts with another blood type. I don't know if with consumption, if that's a thing. I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
So there are certain blood types that do clash really bad. So I actually had an issue with this at one point. So if you have A, B, anything like that, if one person has negative and the other has positive, that can cause serious issues. You both have to be either B positive or AB positive, whatever. if you mix positive and negative, it's going to cause a lot of issues.
Even consumption, though, really. That's I did not know that. I learned something new today. I had a son, so I know like when you have a kid, you definitely have to figure that out.
No, even with consumption, if it is even a little bit, if you mix the bloods, the blood cells are going to start attacking each other and you can fall ill, or your body is going to think that your body is under attack.
And see, that brings up another valid point. Guys, all kink is technically dangerous. Now, I'm going to say that. I don't mean to scare you off. That doesn't mean like, oh, it's scary. No. But like, you could hit somebody with a fucking flogger wrong and do kidney damage if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So just be aware of it. Do some research. If you have questions, don't just trust me or her. Like, go do some research, read some articles. Don't be scared, but communicate openly. And don't, the biggest thing is don't rush any of it. Don't just, oh, I want to do blood play. Here's a knife. Like, don't do that. Take your time with stuff and you'll enjoy it a lot more. Because, well, God forbid, if they didn't know that and they had a reaction, they might have ran away from it, even if it was something they enjoyed.
Actually, Hawk has a very good point. That is very true.
Yes.
That is very true.
RH negative is the alien blood type one, I think, isn't it? Isn't that the one they joke's the alien blood type? There's one of them I know that there's a joke with kids. If you have RH negative, it's technically not human DNA or something. I remember. Okay. How do I get the girlfriend to talk about experimenting? That one we already answered. My wife and I are looking into polyamory, specifically adding a third closed relationship. We're working on ourselves and our own insecurities before we start this journey. Any advice for us newbies? You're doing exactly what you should be doing. You cannot engage in polyamory to save your relationship. Swinging to save your relationship, a threesome, the spicing. Guys, I can't tell you the amount of horror stories that come from that shit. And I actually, believe it, I don't know if you ever heard of the show Loveline. There used to be a radio call-in show that was about sexuality. And I actually argued one night with Dr. Drew for an hour. Because I called in because he was knocking on polyamory and threesomes, and I went off. And because he was very much in this mentality of, well, threesomes never work, polyamory never works. That's not true. It's fundamentally not true. But
it's a lot of trust.
It's a lot of trust. It's a lot of communication, and it cannot save what is already broken. Nor can kink. If your relationship's already broken, kink ain't gonna fucking save it either. And you also should never play drunk, high, or angry. And especially not the first time. I mean, like, if you're one of these people that medicates consistently with marijuana, it's a different story. But especially at least your first or second time, you should not be under the influence of anything. Me personally, that's why I don't drink to excess, because I always want to be able to play. So I never get past a buzz because I want to be in control of my situation. So just a little tidbit there. But no, you're doing the right thing. You're communicating. You're fixing yourselves first to make sure. And again, go slowly. I'm a splendid daddy. I got the potential, but I ain't paying. Doesn't make you a splendid daddy. There's nothing wrong. If you know what the biggest thing is, guys? I don't care if you're a sugar daddy, if you're a man, whatever. Be a fucking, and this is going to be a little misogynistic maybe, but I'm a little old school. Doesn't mean that women don't have a voice. I'm all for women equal, all that stuff, okay? But I'm going to say two things. One, being a service sub or a submissive in general does not take back feminism, because they have equal power and they're giving that control up. So it's not a knock to feminism, first of all. Second of all, just be a fucking man. I like, pay for fucking dinner, open your fucking doors, step up and be chivalrous. It doesn't discredit them. If they tell you they don't like it, then that's fine. But like, I hate this mentality of, I'm not paying for photos. I'm not going to do, like, stop it. You're gonna pay one way or the other. Just be a man and take care of your partner and be a decent fucking human being. And that's all. If more men would just do that, everybody would be happier. If we just stepped up to do that. 19, Nilla as fuck, but I'm very fascinated with the topic. Just here to learn. Well, thank you, Frost Felix. I appreciate it. There are some people looking for a few couples. I don't see the difference why hubby. Oh. There are some people looking for just a few couples to play with and also do things outside of the bedroom. So I don't see the difference what hubby does. So trying to figure out. So basically she's saying that he wants poly without the title, basically. It's that, they want somebody it's like a closed, ongoing relationship and they do things outside the bedroom, but it's not, he doesn't think it's an actual relationship. Frankly, if I'm being honest, and feel free to chime in, I think that's, especially if you're just going to add one female versus a couple, which I don't know what you're trying to do, that's a very easy way for somebody to be devalued. That's not to say you can't have hierarchy in a successful relationship if it's negotiated. That's fine. But if it's not negotiated, if you have a hierarchy, that can make somebody be very devalued. And it sounds, unfortunately, like that situation could have somebody get very invested and care about you too, and then realize all of a sudden that you're not equally invested, and that can get somebody hurt emotionally. Just saying. Oh, they're looking for couples, not single women. Okay. That's a little different then. That's fine. So basically, you want friends that you fuck. That's really... I frankly wouldn't...
Couples with benefits.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that... I wouldn't call that polyamory, though. Even if you're in an ongoing relationship with another couple, I wouldn't call that polyamory. I would call that couples with benefits, friends with benefits. It's just different, I think. You can still do things.
Couples with benefits.
Couples do double dates all the time. If you happen to fuck at the end, that doesn't change anything. Any advice for someone new to BDSM? I'm a brat. My partner's a switch. What do you got there? Anything?
Just communication. That's all. So like, I am not a switch whatsoever, but one of the things that I have found work is, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. But like, I will do things that like I'm not usually like full for, but God, I am just done with words at the moment.
I have words. I have the best words.
That's the fucking word I was looking for. Compromise. There we go. So like, my man is a very soft dom. He likes me to take control once in a while, but like, I'm not really a big fan of it. But in return, he tries to be more dominant towards me as long as I also try other things as well.
Which is, and that's the big, God forbid.
Just communication. That's all it is. Communication.
You're mutual. That's 100%. Hawk said topping from the bottom. No, she's saying that she doesn't like topping, but she's trying to be respectful.
Yeah,
of her
no,
partner.
I am not a big fan of being dominant whatsoever. Sometimes he wants me to take control. I do it because I know it pleases him.
Which is good. As long as you're not sacrificing, I would tell anybody that, as long as you're not sacrificing your own self, and he's obviously being mutual, and God, like, you said compromise and mutual everything is, God, that's every relationship. I don't care if you're monogamous or poly or kink. If you can't compromise, you have no business being in a relationship. I think that's the misnomer. Everybody's like, well, you can't love somebody if you don't love yourself. I think that's less true than you can't love somebody and be in a relationship if you're a selfish dickhead. Like, just be mutual and be fun. Demaninator just thanked us for creating a safe space. Talk about these things. Hawk put that well. Taking control is a service to him. So technically you're still being submissive because you're giving him what he wants. So I'm curious, though, just to delve more into that. So when you say that he wants, like, what kind of things are you doing?
So sometimes he wants me to be very dominant and take his role, which is something I'm not completely, like, comfortable with yet, just because I am very, very submissive. So sometimes he will tell me to like get on top, and he'll want me to like tease him, and we do bring in the choking every once in a while just because he finds it pleasing for me to be dominant, which is him exploring his own thing, which I'm fully for. I'm like, I'm bringing you into this. You fully go ahead and explore what you're into. We'll work on this together, no problem. But yeah.
So, and I don't know if you've tried this, but just 2 cents to throw out there. Have you considered, and I know you're a little, but have you considered maybe trying to go the middle route? And like you're saying, like he wants you to tease him and everything else. Have you considered, or have you tried going the seductress route?
I've tried. It's not really up my alley personally.
Fair enough.
I am full submissive. I want to be told what to do. I don't like taking control. It makes me nervous, which kind of turns me off a little bit. Like, I'm more comfortable when I'm not in charge.
I just wasn't sure if, like, I wasn't so, like, I mentioned the things about middles being, like, seducing the older man thing, and I wasn't sure if there was a way to make that where you could make it work for you, where you were like teasing him to the point where he finally said, okay, fuck it, mine.
Yeah, that's kind of what we try to do. I don't mind it necessarily, but I guess that's kind of where like the brattiness comes in, where
Right.
like I enjoy being punished for not doing what I'm told. But like I don't like making the rules.
Fair. No, it's totally fair. Then that makes complete sense. Vixen Shadowfire said, how unowned to find an owner? Oh boy. Well, again, first of all, there's not really a great resource for it, unfortunately. Any resource you try, you're going to find as much negative and toxic as you do positive. God forbid, one of the websites, I joke about this all the time, that I sign up for is an age gap dating app called Gaper. Fortunate name. I can't believe somebody in that meeting didn't go, I know they're trying to call it Gapper, but I still can't believe somebody in that marketing meeting didn't go, you know, guys, this could be spelled the wrong way. Like, how did nobody, because that's literally the first thing I saw. I don't know how nobody else went, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. But that's just me. Otherwise, though, the biggest thing I can tell you if you're trying to find an owner, I hate the term sub frenzy. That's a gatekeepy term where they talk about subs that want to try everything. I don't think it's a negative thing. There's people that say that's a negative thing. I think you have to try everything in order to figure out what you're into. As long as you go into it with the mentality of, I might not like this, and you don't freak out afterwards. But I think I don't like the term sub frenzy, but my point to them would be is, A, make sure you kind of go into it what you want. B, make sure you're communicating it, and just make sure that you vet people. And guys, I can't tell you more often than not, trust your gut, man. Women especially. Women, you have an inherent intuition. Although, yes, you date fucking toxic men too. But most women, still, even when they date toxic men, have that little voice in their head going, hey, wait a minute. Listen to it. Like, and I would implore people to listen to that more than they would people who spread rumors, because that can get real fucked. But just, judge people for what they're worth. Take it at face value. Take your time with people. Don't just throw a collar around your neck and call him daddy, because that can get you in trouble.
Oh, yeah. 1000%.
Somebody said your partner needs to figure out chance to figure out who he is. Yes. No fun if you want to not cooperate. Correct. Great. I agree with all that. Good for you guys. Hawk, have you tried having a puppet master dom in the mix where you are being told what to do to him by another dom?
I have not. I've never actually heard that term, to be completely honest with you.
I hadn't either. There's something to that, because technically you're not cheating, because you're not, well, I mean, it depends on somebody's definition, but you're not physical with the other person. You're not doing anything else. It's just somebody giving you your role and tasks, then using against him. That's something to consider.
I'm very intrigued. Don't get me wrong. I'm very intrigued.
Hey, Alice and I and the girls will give you all kinds of fucking ideas. Don't tempt us. We'll just here, girl, do this. I mean, I already gave you the mask one, and I you know what? I'm gonna triple dog dares are the most epic of dares, at least in the Christmas movie rule. And I will triple dog dare you to do that scent thing with his mask, and I want to know how it goes.
I will. 1000%.
I'm 100% curious about it, because I'm really gonna. I'm just. It can't go bad, I don't think. I'm just really curious to see if he even realized it. So I cannot wait to hear how that worked for you. All right. Do you have any advice for starting out? I am older, not really diversely experienced, but very sexual. When in a relationship, I'm interested in a few kinks: choke, pleasure, pain, brat, primal, but I do not know where to start. Confidence, shyness has been a big hindrance, but I know when things are in a safe space, I unleash the dom side. Also, Frost Felix, thank you so much. Frost Felix says they love you, Melon, and he was nice to meet me. They'll be watching from time to time, so thank you. Enjoy work. Don't work too hard. Back to Queso Child. First of all, just to clarify, try to keep sexuality and kink in separate channels. There's always a crossover. I get it. But it doesn't have to be that way, so don't immediately assume it has to be that way. I actually know quite a few people that, for the same topics we're talking about, they have a dom that they play with that's completely not sexual, just to get all of the other stuff they need, and then they have their sexual relationship with their primary partner. They get their whips and their chains and all that stuff. I've even had I was that person for a while where I was the dom for them, and they would go and fuck their partner. I get them all worked up, and then they're like, "All right, bye." It's like, but I've done that. It's okay. So keep that in mind first, and then otherwise, you're talking about choke. Careful with that. Don't rush into it. Always use a hand.
Please learn your hand placements.
Yes.
Please.
Arteries, okay? Not trachea. And also, hand. Not rope, not a scarf. You can't, especially if you're just learning, you need to be able to take that fucker off immediately. That's why I've never had it. That's why I've never had an injury in 37 years or however long I've been active, because I use my hand. I've used a plastic bag before too. That's a whole different kind of thing. It's kind of fun. But, or if I'm now to the point where I know where I'm at, I can do a scarf and do okay because I know what I'm doing. But that's only after I've had years and years of experience. Again, hand is the safest way to go, or two hands. King PB&J, again, is a great one where if you have smaller hands and you can't do it one-handed like I do, or if your partner has a bigger neck, he has some alternatives that work really well. Definitely check him out. Confidence is a big one, though. I'll tell you right now, confidence is, you will gain confidence as you learn. The more you learn, the more confidence you'll have. It is very hard to be dominant if you're shy, and it's hard for a submissive to respect a dominant if they're shy. Not knocking you.
Also, to add on to the choking thing, one little thing that I do with teaching my partner is when he's doing it, we have a signal where if I tap his hands twice, he knows to let go or he's doing too much.
Mm-hmm. Also, a good rule of thumb is if they can talk. If they can still talk, you're probably squeezing it right. Because if I squeeze, like I'm squeezing my arteries right now, I don't want to make myself pass out. You can still hear me talk completely normal. If I press into here, you're going to notice fucking difference. Keep that in mind. And you can do it from both sides. You can actually even do it open and do the same thing. It's a little harder. It's a little awkward, but you can do it. If you do the fast choke like I do, where I do the fucking, which everybody hates. All the fucking gatekeepers hate that. That fucking fast choke. But there's two things with it. One, I've hit my hand placement the right way about 1,000 fucking times before I ever did that. So I know every time I hit, I'm hitting it there. But also, if you're going to get to that point, support the back of the head. Because it's real easy to do this and have them fucking snap their head back, and that's a whole nother fucking animal. And also, support them when they go down. Don't just drop them on the floor if they pass out. Again, I don't know if you watched my podcast last week, but I made my ex-wife pass out once, and I actually made a video about it to try to get them for Katy Perry to see it. But one of the times she passed out, she actually saw fire and heard Katy Perry. So apparently she was in hell briefly when I passed her out, and Katy Perry was singing there. So, very interesting experience. Best way to explore poly, and I mean, guys, we're going to sound like a broken record, but the best way to explore poly and BDSM when you're starting as a couple, patience. Patience and communication. Patience and communication. It's a broken record. I know it's not sexy, but patience and communication. Don't just pick a flogger up and start whacking your fucking wife with it. And make sure you communicate everything. She's a perfect example. She's communicating explicitly with her partner. And they're taking their time. God love her. And she's being supportive of him, and that is huge. Be supportive, be communicative, be open. And don't just communicate before the scene, communicate afterwards.
Do it afterwards. We definitely have a thing where every time that we're finished, we lay down and we talk about things we liked, things we didn't like, things we would like to try the next time. We always have an open conversation afterwards. And
that brings up another valid subject. Doms need aftercare too.
Yes.
Especially doms like me who play to the level that I do. Guys, I can't begin to explain to you how much pain can be an emotional release also. I've had partners weep, not from pain, but because it's cathartic. I've even had psychologists that I've talked to that have said, yeah, it could actually be a valid, they're not going to, don't go to your psychologist and have them start whipping you with a belt or anything. That's bad. But there is a lot of science behind the fact that it can be healthy, especially for trauma survivors, to take something like, if they're cutters, they can transition into a healthy space with their partner. That being said, that's all great. It's great that's released for them. But doms need that reassurance too. Like for me, it's beard scratches and like, little cuddles, chest fur scratches. Because if anything else, I want to know that I just beat the fuck out of you and that you're okay and that you still love me. Because doms can drop hard, especially us men who were raised you don't hit women. And I still don't. Never in my life have I ever raised my hand to a woman in anger, and I've never played angry. And I love that kink, but I still want that reassurance from my partner that they enjoyed it, and I want that communication. And if I did something wrong, I want to know. The communication again is key. Somebody's saying about the confidence again. It's trial and error and patience and communication. Small town in Montana, we don't have much in the way of kink communities. Oh, they're up there also, don't you know? You betcha. Oh yeah. I guess it's Minnesota, not Montana. Sorry to wrongly accent your place. Guys, don't worry that much about the local community. I applaud you for having your community that was supportive of you. But local communities can be super toxic. So don't be super bummed if you don't have a local supportive community. My partners and I don't engage in a local community. St. Louis community is toxic. We stick to our own and we make our own friends, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Exhibitionist and wife is vanilla. I just want a family to protect and love, not rule. Does that mean any of the roles? Yes, that would be daddy dom, even a service dom, maybe a little bit. He wants a family to protect and love, but not rule. He wants to be a guide. Pillbig said he's back, bitches. Okay. People like listening, safety first. I love it that our viewers are also helping us answer questions. Thank you guys, appreciate that. Melon is the queen. From Glocken 69.
Judo.
Hawk said, amen, we do need aftercare. Blue eyes. Waiting for my booty stickers and my kinky fucker mug. Yes, thank you for ordering. Yes, we have booty stickers. Booty stickers. There's one of each. I've got one of Alice. I've got one of, which, by the way, I saw you had your booty painting.
Yes, I do.
It's not that hard. I can probably convert yours for you if you like. I literally just took the picture and brought it into Photoshop, and I made it into a sticker. Super fun. Which I would love to make more and sell them. I know you said you tried to sell yours and somebody backed out, so now you just have yours hanging up. I watched your TikToks.
Yeah, the next plan is definitely to try to put them on like poster boards and sell them separately.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really stalkery. I watched your TikToks. I watched a few. I wanted to know who I was working with, so I tried to find the ones that were all out there. The Queen calls all simps.
Oh my goodness.
Glocken's just on and on. I'm very dom, but I have that bit of vanilla I like to add with these teas.
I really, really hate to do this, but the vet is calling me.
You're good. Before you leave, do you want to give a quick shout out to all your stuff?
All of my stuff is just Melon Baller. I think my TikTok is just regular Melon Baller. Everything else is Melon Baller with a 3 at the end, or in the baller point. Here, I can type it in.
Yeah, give them your link. Guys, thank her for coming out. Make sure you follow all her socials. Sign up for her OnlyFans and ours. We would love to see all of you on the OnlyFans. I'm actually curious. We've got 40 people in the chat. Raise your hand if you are currently a subscriber of Melon's OnlyFans and or ours. I'm just curious to know. And if you're not, how dare you? Not really. One of them said they want to subscribe, but their money's tight, and I get it. COVID sucks.
There we go.
So when you get that stimulus check from new Daddy Biden, you make sure you use that on us. There's her link. You go take care of your bunny. Thank you so much.
Do.
You're a fucking rock star.
Of course.
And I would say just plan on being back next Friday. I'd love to have you back.
Yeah, of course. I really enjoyed this.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Go pick up your,
right.
Not the cat, the bunny. The bunny. So,
the bunny.
And you let me know if you need anything else. And like I said, I'll send you that free trial and stuff later on, and you have fun.
Good. I shall do the same.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
All right. So now you guys are stuck with just me. But I will stick around for you. So I will keep doing they don't accept your money. What do you mean they don't accept your money? I'm really curious, actually. The homie B, you're signing up for Melon. Sign up for ours. Melons is awesome, but sign up for ours. There is myself and my 3 beautiful girlfriends on there, and you will thoroughly enjoy it, I promise. She has not abandoned you. She's gone to pick the bunny. And you guys got her for 2.5 hours. I think that's pretty good. Username is STLBells. Here you go, buddy. I will give you the link to all of our stuff. Here is all of our stuff. Gives you all the accounts, including OnlyFans. And Vixen, I'm just giving you a hard time. I know money's tight, trust me. Hell, my Ivy and Gypsy still haven't received their fucking stimulus check. And we tried to call and get it figured out, and being the daddy that I am, I tried to call for them, and they're like, oh yeah, you got to resubmit it. We tried to resubmit it, and they're like, we've already submitted it. So we don't fucking know. Makes no sense. Via Amex or PayPal? Yeah, they don't. Amex is... Well, PayPal is super... PayPal is super anti-sex work. Anyway. But I will tell you, Tavi, we are actually working on... we're going to be creating a hosted payment page. So we're going to have a website soon that will take all forms of payment, including Amex. And what we will do is we're going to set it up to where you can buy recurring boxes of Kinky Fucker stuff, where you can get the geek merchandise, and also where you can just donate. And we can probably do something when that's live to where I'll have you pay for it, and then I'll technically send you a free trial, but you paid for it. So we can definitely do that. No problem at all. Cash App's cool. We can do the same thing with Cash App. We have Cash App. I could definitely do I can do a year subscription and take payment via Cash App. I've got no problem doing that. And then you would just basically get a free trial for a year, but you would have paid for it via Cash App. Ice Dragon, thank you. And also, again, for those of you watching, damn, we lost 10 people. You're all here for her, not for me. I get it. For those of you that really wanted to learn in person, don't forget, I keep sharing that link. The Patreon is live. There's no content on it yet. I want to wait till some more people get subscribed. But there are 2 tiers on there where you can meet us in person. And not just meet us in person, but I will teach you. I'll be your shrink for the day or whatever. I will give you in-person lessons on all the stuff. I'm more than happy to do it. It's on the Patreon. So, you feel that you're... Thank you so much, the homie B. I really appreciate it. I'm doing my best. Send pics if you're getting merch. Send it to my Instagram or the Bell's Instagram. Also, the links are in that link I shared. Wi-Fi Bluetooth Vibes is... and I'm coming... Hold on. I'm going to scroll up. Give me a minute, guys. Good God. So many questions. Ice Dragon. You're a brat and you're very good, but you feel that you're all over the place with it. Can you specify what you mean by all over the place with it, just so I can give you a better answer? The Wi-Fi Bluetooth Vibes is Love Sense, Love Ents. They're really good. That's one we use. So that's good. M-Law, try to find a bisexual person through one of the million dating apps. It doesn't work well, honestly. And be supportive. All you can do is be supportive. Don't push her. Don't be otherwise. Don't push for threesomes. Let her explore. And if it becomes a threesome, great for all that. So yeah, Ice Dragon, I do me a favor and just explain to me the what you mean by the all over the place. I do want to answer your question, but I want to get a little more insight before I just start tossing it out there. Jenny Pooh, thank you for finding me on TikTok. I appreciate it. We keep trying to transition everything. Guys, we've got so much going on. It's crazy. The response on TikTok has been amazing. Thank you so much. We have the Discord, although I'm not great about being in the Discord right now, I'll be honest. I'm trying to keep up with it. We now have this podcast. I'm going to start trading a couple nights a week. We have the Geek Grooming Company launched. We have the Kinky Fucker merch, which we're expanding. We have now the Patreon, so you can get physical rewards like posters and prints if you don't want merch, but actual like handmade items and stuff. We've got that. We've got all that going for you, and also, like I said, the in-person learning. Can I make this bigger for y'all? I can. Look at that. You know what? We're going to make it nice and big for you. Hi! Now you can see more of me. Aren't you lucky? I get really feisty and just childish very often when I'm in the mood or if I'm energetic. That's nothing wrong with that. Alice does the same thing. Especially if she's drunk. Oh my God. Way over the top. That's just typical brat little energy. There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy it. Find a partner that enjoys it. Wolves better than YouTube Live. I figured. We crosscast to YouTube right now because it's easier. Although I think once I become an affiliate, I don't think I can do that anymore. So it might not be that much longer anyway. I'm doing it purely for the simplicity of it, so I can cross post it because it automatically posts it. But I do think that once I become an affiliate, I think they stop that. I could be wrong. I'm new to the streaming thing. Ice Dragon Mistress, if you want to pick Alice's brain, so I want to tell you, and Wolves, I'll answer your question in a minute. Thanks, Jenny Poo. Love you. So I'll be 100% honest with you guys. We try to respond to questions as much as we can, whether through TikTok or, yes, Vixen Shadowfire would love to do that. Send me a message and we'll talk about it. We try to be as responsive as possible through all mediums. That being said, TikTok, we have 130,000 followers, 8,500 on Instagram, still growing. A lot of these formats, we have so many people, it's hard to keep up with. So one of the reasons why we did Patreon is because even if you don't want to do the in-person learning, we're going to take a small group of people that contribute to that allow us to have a more personal aspect with you and get deeper. Also, OnlyFans is good for that. It's a little easier to discuss when it's a smaller format. Now, if you want to reach out to Alice through social media, she's usually very good about responding, but also just bear in mind we have all this going on, so we're not always great about keeping up, but we will try. But the only for sure way is if you engage with that, just because then it's not because we're greedy. I don't want you to think that. It's just because it kind of separates you from the melee, so to speak. Thank you, Ryder King. I appreciate it. Well, Hawk, that's awesome. Again, reach out, please. We always want help. We really want to start growing the podcast. And I'm sorry that for the next 30 minutes, it's just me. We've been reaching out, but it's Thanksgiving week. You know, it's fucking crazy for people. And thank you, all of you who are still tuning in. God love you. That's awesome. Makes me feel good. It's me and Dwight. You get Dwight. Dwight's back there. You get Dwight, too. OnlyFans and TikTok, aside from in person, Patreon is good. I mean, there's a lot, but again, Instagram she'll respond on. We do our best. The only reason why I said that was not to be greedy. I feel bad when we miss messages, and I don't want people to think we don't care or we're not responding. It's just sometimes it's hard to keep up with. That's all. We will always do our level best to respond. I just want to be honest, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with, and please don't be upset with us. When you're ready to add, I love your face. Oh, I love your face. Thank you. When you're ready to add a third, what's the best way to go about it? So what I was going to say was, hold on, Daddy's paying. So if you can't afford to pay for it, just try to keep reaching out. We're going to answer questions, but like if we don't respond, bug us. It's okay. And we will see it because we might have missed it the first time. So don't feel bad about messaging us multiple times. We will see it eventually, and we will get back to you. That's my best answer. When you're ready to add a third, don't worry about the unicorn hunting thing. I hate that fucking phrase. It's another gatekeeping thing. Because you know what? Technically, when Alice and I were looking for a third partner, we were called unicorn hunters. But we were looking for a third partner and a fourth, and we we're open to a fifth. It's okay. But communicate ideally exactly what you want. As long as you're being open with somebody, with what you want and your wife wants or your fiance, I forgot what your relationship was, whatever you want, as long as you're communicating openly with that person and they agree to it, you're fine. But you've got to communicate openly, and I would do it very early. You can't trick people into it. That's where it gets a little sketch. Okay. Yeah, don't the unicorn hunting thing, ignore that shit. Ignore all the gatekeeping shit. I will never gatekeep you. People will, but frankly, gatekeepers are just as toxic as fake doms. So that's my opinion. Clip it. I don't care. Gatekeeping is as toxic as being a fake dom. Daddy's hot take. Munches are great. Kind of. Here's why I say that. If you want to network with people, in a non-judgmental atmosphere, munches are great. Same thing as technically like business networking events can be great. But you need to take it all with a grain of salt. You might get bad information there. You might still see toxic people there. Just take it with a grain of salt. And my bigger complaint with munches is not that they're bad. My complaint with munches was that there used to be, and there still is in some communities, where if you're 18 to 20, they'll only let you attend a munch. They won't let you attend play parties or otherwise. And I hate that mentality. I think if you're of age of consent, we should be teaching people, period. Because as much as we want to say, well, they're not ready, well, it's better for us to teach them and try to make them ready than say, you're not ready, and then they go do it on their own and they fucking hurt somebody. It's the same idea as sex education. We should be doing comprehensive sex education in this country from 8th grade and then again in fucking high school, and it should be comprehensive and all-encompassing because it doesn't encourage people to have sex. It gives them tools so they do it safely. Kink should be taught the same fucking way. Period. Instagram's usually a little easier if you want to message us. I can't guarantee that, though. I try to check everything. But with the day job and then the multiple accounts in the Discord, it's hard to keep up. I will say that Discord, although... Sorry, guys. Discord, although we are on there and we do post, it's impossible to keep up that conversation. So if you really want to have an in-depth conversation, Discord is not the place to do it. Instagram's probably your better bet. Discord might change from that. But our moderators are great resources on the Discord, so you might get some answers from them too. Ice Dragon, that's a possibility. Definitely feel reach out. Bless you. Thanks. Not COVID. It's just allergies, I promise. God, being a smoker, I cannot fucking tell you how much, like, you get that smoker's cough from it. Everybody goes. Or Alice and I went to Denver when COVID was first a big thing, and we got tested before we went, so we didn't spread it. But, like, the thinner air and everything, we were coughing up like crazy because we had allergies and everything, and we, like, constantly had, like, we should have worn a fucking sticker that said it's not COVID, it's allergies, because we just had so many fucking weird looks. It's terrible. Vixen Shadowfire 2319, I don't know what that means. I would love to quit smoking. I've tried twice. I don't know why I still have my headphones on, because I'm not listening to anything, so I'm actually going to take these off because my head's sweating. I have a sweaty head. I would love to quit smoking. I've tried twice. I've done vapor, but unfortunately with stress and the amount of work I do, it's been very, very hard to quit again. And I've tried to use Juuls. Where's my jaw? They're not strong enough. And my other vapor stuff kept leaking, so that was kind of a problem. Yes, thank you. Hawk, exactly. Fucking exactly. And you know what, Hawk? I'm going to tell you something, too. So, I actually hate the term master. Not to yuck your yum, but there's a lot of people who take that title without earning it, which is why I don't like the term. Not saying that's you, but that's where part of my issue has been with that term specifically is a lot of the gatekeepers I've ran into over the years and a lot of the, you're a tourist and all this bullshit that I've ran into have been with the MS people because they take things sometimes a little too seriously. I'm not saying that's you. But if you ever hear me rail against MS, that's part of the reason why. It's not to say it's an unhealthy dynamic in general. There's great MS dynamics and there's great masters out there. But a lot of the old guard, high protocol folks, unfortunately, tend to be the ones that gatekeep the most, and I have very strong beliefs against gatekeeping. So that's kind of my thing. Yeah, the local munch thing too. I mean, guys, I can't. I'm not knocking local communities. I'm not knocking MS Dynamics. I'm not knocking anything else. But all of it is to bear in mind that you have value. You have purpose. Your kinks are your kinks. You don't have to fit into your box. You don't have to fit into their box. You don't have to believe in the dogma. It's not a fucking religion. As much as some people want to treat it like a religion, this is not a religion. This is not some great holy thing, okay? Thank you for the follow, Uniman. You're valid. And again, like when we started dealing with the gatekeeping and people were, and by the way, I've said this on TikTok today. I'm going to say it here. If you see people doing the gatekeeping thing or calling out creators or, God forbid, encouraging you to report creators, unfollow them, block them. It's bullshit because it hurts all of us. It kills all the creators, and it's going to hurt them too. They just don't fucking realize they're too dense. It's not good. And that kind of tourist bullshit, don't let anybody fucking tell you that. I don't care if the only kink you have is spanking your partner on the ass every once in a while. That's fine. It's still valid. That's still your kink. You matter. Your kinks matter. Your opinion matters. Your sexuality matters. Don't let anybody else tell you different. As long as you're going about it openly and honestly and you're communicating, you're not some toxic, rapey douchebag, you're fine. Please know that you're welcome. And we will always be here to answer questions for you, as will the creators. If you notice, the creators I bring on to this podcast and the ones I continue to bring on, I will not bring on anybody who gatekeeps. I will not bring on anybody who's going to tell you that you have no business in it. Those people I will shut down quicker than shit. And I've seen a lot of it on Kink Talk, unfortunately, with people that want to, well, I'm a better educator, or I'm this, or I'm that. Stop it. All of it's valid. Everybody's valid. Learn from the people you care about. Do your own research. Have fun. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. My voice, I started talking quietly. I hope you guys can still hear me very well. What specifically makes you a dom? Well, that's a two-part answer. One, technically, you're not a dom until somebody gives you that title. Hot take. You are not a dom, a daddy, a master, anything, until somebody gives you that title. You can be kinky, you can like the dominant role, but you yourself are not a dom until somebody grants you that power. Now, I know we're kind of splitting hairs there, but I want people to understand that. You can't just say you're a dom and start dominating people. That's not how it works. You can be a top, but it's even a top. Well, you can be a top. You can identify as top. You can say, I like this dynamic. But you're not actually a dom until somebody gives you that title. And it's given to you. It's not taken, period. That being said, if you think you're dominant and somebody gives you that title, that you fit in the category. Again, don't worry about categories and titles, guys. Who gives you that title? The submissive that gives it to you. Or the switch that gives it to you, that you're their dom. They're giving you power. They're giving you power. They're choosing to submit to you. That makes you a dom. In my opinion. Thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. But as far as otherwise, I mean, like, technically, if you like toppy things, right? If you like toppy things, so if you like to give pain versus receive, that's dominant in nature. If you like to be a daddy and guide and care for persons and take care of them, that's toppy behavior. If you like to give them rules, that's toppy behavior. If you have certain expectations, that's toppy behavior. Technically, if you're just a 50s style husband, where your wife is inherently a service sub, which, by the way, people don't realize that just being a 50s style housewife is technically service submission, then you're dom. Or if you're a pleasure, I mean, all those are valid. Thank you, Uniman. Thank you, Vixen. Hawk and see, that's fine. That's perfect. Somebody gave you that title. You earned their respect enough to give you that title. I flat out tell my partners that, hey, I fucking hate that word. Don't ever use that. And I have partners who have used it to be like, well, no, you're more than a daddy. You're more than a dom to me, so I want to use this. And I'm like, you can say that, and I appreciate it, but, like, I still just don't like the connotation of it a lot of times. But again, not yucking anybody's yum. I'm just being open and honest with you guys. Ice Dragon, that's valid. So, guys, it's about 9:30. We usually go either 7 to 10 or 7 to 9 is always the goal. 9:30 is pretty solid. But before I part ways, I would love to know any other questions you guys have. Do we have any other rapid-fire questions before next week? And by the way, next week, I'm going to try to be on here Wednesday and Friday, just so you guys know. I'll try to be live Wednesday and Friday, but for sure the night of Black Friday I will be here. So you guys can watch me on whatever new monitor or TV you got with your Black Friday deals. And also, if anybody has insights on where to get a PlayStation 5, fucking let me know, please. Yes, I am going to do other things on this channel besides Kink. Eventually. I intend to... I want to do a political stream. Specifically just dealing with politics and my opinions on that. But I want to wait until I've officially hit affiliate because I know the political stuff's not going to have as much draw initially. So I want to make sure and wait till I hit affiliate and then I'll create another network and do that. I also do game, so I will be doing some gaming on here. I also intend to have the girls come on more. It's just right now with them moving and everything else, it's kind of a nightmare. But yes, there's going to be a lot more, so keep following, please. And definitely once you get the... once I get affiliate, please do subscribe. Oh, Uniman, no, I'm Central Time, so it's 9:35 here. So we go 7 to... I always say 7 to 9 because I feel like a 2-hour window is pretty solid. 3 is better. Now, the other thing is once the girls are back here, and as we have more, like I'd like to expand the stream to be longer, but also too, I mean, like you saw, a lot of people go to bed pretty early. So I don't want to, keep everybody up late. I think, I think solid 3 hours is pretty good. Thank you, Vixen Shadow. I can answer a couple questions, Pika King, if you got a few, and then we can save the rest for next one. Gotta keep you wanting more. Guys, one of the biggest things I will tell you, though, especially for those of you that want to contribute and help and don't have the funds, which I totally respect, if you share the Kickstarter for the Geek Grooming, if you just share it on Facebook, and by the way, it's completely safe to share. There's no kink related to it. It's just geeky grooming products. If all of you shared that on your social media, it would be a huge help to us. We're really trying to get that launched. We're going to launch the website regardless, but the Kickstarter will help us get things for Christmas and help people do things cheaper. And again, we're giving back to the homeless with it, so getting the word out would be huge. That's a huge bit to help share. And also, like, if you have friends, I mean, definitely recommend this. Please keep interacting on TikTok. I can't tell you, especially with creators getting banned, how important that is to keep interacting and sharing and doing that. But if there's one thing I would ask you besides obviously contributing to the Patreon or otherwise, if you're into that stuff, sharing the geek grooming thing right now would be huge. Because, again, we're trying to get back to the homeless with it. And it's a great thing that is not kink related. We'd love to get the word out. So, Tavi, I will show you in person sometime soon with one of the girls. But if you look, I don't know if you can see this. Your arteries are going to be over here and over here. And my hand, thankfully, is fairly big. My beard gets in the way. But if you see this, okay, I don't have any pressure on my trachea at all. And even as big as my neck is, I'm hitting the veins. So make sure you're hitting on the sides. Don't put pressure here. And until you're confident of it, don't do the fast chokes. Put your hand on them, stabilize them, and squeeze. Now, you might not get them to pass out that way because you're not... Part of the reason why my girls pass out so quick is not just the choke, it's the motion. And the reason being is there is a hypnotic principle to that pickpockets use and close-up magicians in Vegas use, and also faith healers use, actually, where when you interrupt the body's natural rhythm, so like if you go into a handshake and you pop them on the fucking head or anything like that, if the body's not expecting it, it can kick them into a bit of a trance. So a lot of times the reason why they pass out so quick and the eyes roll back and all that is the combination of A, my grip, but it's also because of the quickness and the body doesn't expect it. So it's a 1-2 punch. Which is why I love the fast choke, even though people tell me not to teach it. I love the fast choke once you're confident enough to do it. But again, you've got to support the head, and you've got to know where you're going. Because if you're not confident of where that fucking hand's going, when you go that fast, you can do damage. And I've practiced with both hands. My left hand's not as great, but I have practiced for both, especially because now with TikToks, like this is the more tattooed arm. And frankly, I'm vain as fuck, and I like to show off the tattooed arm more. All right, guys. Any other questions before I end the stream? Almost 3 hours in. Give me one more question. We can make it the full 3. Any more questions? There's still 22 of you beautiful fucking people here. By the way, Ice Dragon, I want more tattoos. Thanks, Dean. By the way, I have no idea what the crowns next to your name mean, but I appreciate you. Because I'm sure it means that you've contributed or done something, so I sincerely thank you for all of your guys' support and the fact you guys have all been in here this long. Dean has a crown next to his name. Tavi has a crown next to his name. Oh, that means Amazon Prime? Really? Did not know. Well, then hit that wish list up, buddy. Help us out. We got good stuff on there. Demandinator for discovering kinks. Great question. And yes, those are perfect. So we're going to end with those 2 questions. Those are perfect questions. So, any advice on discovering kinks? And can I explain gatekeepers? Perfect example. So, discovering kinks. Step 1. Go to bdsmtest.org. Now, a lot of kink creators have queso child, find a partner to explore with. That's really all I can say. A lot of creators have knocked the bdsmtest.org because it's not comprehensive. This is true. It's not the end-all, be-all source, but it's a good starting point to at least give you an idea. bdsmtest.org. Then you can research those topics through other creators or through Kink Academy. And then really it's trial and error. But again, be patient. If you think that you like it giving pain, start with little pain. You might not leave marks like you want to. You might not do the things you want to do, but start with little stuff first just for the safety of your partner. 100%. But yeah, really be the tests and then the Kink Academy are great resources. And ask questions. Like I said, I'm not always great about responding because sometimes we just get too many and I can't find them all. I wish you guys could see my message box because we get like 50 new messages a day. And then there's like another 100 message requests and it's crazy. But we do our best. So I always do try to respond. And especially with the girls being out of town this week for family shit and me being bored to tears, I will try to catch up with everybody. For the gatekeeper explanation, what a gatekeeper is essentially is somebody who says, you shall not pass. You shall not pass. This life is not for you. Other terms they might use is, you're a tourist. You're not that kinky. You have no business being here. Whatever. Essentially, a gatekeeper, flat out, is somebody in the kink community telling you that you don't belong here. And or discrediting another creator. So, case in point. Let me tell you about me a little bit. I am master's educated. I have dabbled in psychology and sociology, specifically relating to marketing, but also relating to sexuality, human sexuality, kink, PTSD. In my 37 years, I have had partners that have suffered from severe PTSD, including one that was abused at the hands of a religious boarding school. Mount Park or Palm Lane. If you ever want to hear some horror stories, look those up. Mount Park, Palm Lane. She went to one of those because her father, who happens to be a Republican senator until he was appointed one of Trump's, what do you call it? They go to another country. Anyway, ambassador. His daughter was sent there because she was promiscuous, meaning she was 16, had sex with her boyfriend. And these places were known for curing promiscuity and curing homosexuality. And she ended up dying of a heroin overdose after I was with her. Not because of me, but a lot of stuff with her dad and stuff to get into at another point. But I have experienced people with PTSD. I have, again, 20-something years in this lifestyle. I have learned from other kinky people. I have learned from experience. I have learned from partners I submitted first. I have ran fetish events. I ran one of the most successful fetish events in St. Louis, the first one that was 18 to 40. We had almost 400 people at our last event before the whole St. Louis scene got outed. I have a lot of knowledge. I get gate kept because people say I'm not vetted. because I haven't traveled to Europe to teach at something. I've not competed in Mr. Leather. Doesn't fucking matter. Knowledge is knowledge. Okay? So gatekeepers are people who are in a toxic manner are trying to either keep you out of the community or attack other creators, neither of which is good. In order to move this community forward, in order for us all to succeed, in order for Kink Talk not to get banned, guess what? We all have to be positive. We all have to support each other. We have to be as welcoming to everybody and let them know that everybody matters. Because guess what? If the gay community was gatekeeping towards certain parts of the LGBT essentially thing, they would have issues. The same issues we're having now. Unless you're a fucking pedophile and then you have no business being in any of that. But yeah. So a gatekeeper is somebody who's trying to keep somebody out. That's the easiest way I can explain it. Hey, Lady Kate Clay. Yes, the one true way to do kink. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly. There's no one true way to do kink. The biggest thing I can tell you is nobody knows everything. Not fucking anybody. I don't care if they've been in this lifestyle for 150 fucking years. Nobody knows everything. Do your own research. Listen to people. But in general, if somebody's super toxic or negative or spends... Like, I had creators for a while, and it stopped since I turned off stitches because I got smart. I had 20 or 30 creators that were pissed that I blew up faster than them and started attacking my shit and were even making false claims that we were teaching choking wrong, and it was all... They started falsely reporting our content for every fucking thing they could, and they got videos pulled, and then guess what? They fucked everybody. Because now everybody's views are down because they started going after creators, and it just doesn't help. There's no one true way to do anything. And nobody knows everything. I don't care how experienced they are or otherwise. It's all toxic. Yes. Ice Dragon, that is literally a quote that I say myself. The minute you stop learning, you're dead. 100%. We learn every day of this life. I learn every day of this life. I didn't know the blood thing until Melon Baller told me that ingesting a little bit of blood during blood play can be dangerous. So there you go. Thank you, Demandinator. I tried that last night. I don't know if that works, though. I tried it. I signed into Gypsy's account and when I went to sleep, and I put it on one of my videos, and I just let it sit when I slept. But I don't know if that counted. I'm actually curious if that works. I mean, it's hard to imagine how many views that was responsible for versus the other ones keep track of it. So, thank you again. So, guys, I think we're going to end it there. Thank you so very, very, very much for tuning in and staying on the whole time. Like, holy shit, that's awesome. I love you guys to pieces. Blood play for another time. Basically involves knives and naughty stuff, and then blood comes out and you can play with it. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for continuing to follow and interact. We seriously appreciate and love all of you. I know it sounds cheesy, but it is very humbling to see all the new followers every morning and all the comments, and it's amazing. So thank you sincerely for being the people that you do, watching us, interacting, listening to me fucking babble. Seriously, all of you. I sincerely appreciate it. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned, stay kinky, keep interacting, and again, thank you so very much.
But really I was foolish. Hindsight, it's obvious. Talking with my lawyer, she said, where'd you find this guy? I said, young people fall in love with the wrong people sometimes. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. You can think that you're in love when you're really just in pain. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. In the end it's better for me, that's the moral of the story, babe. Funny how a memory turns into a bad dream when running wild turns volatile. Remember how we painted our house just like my grandparents did? So romantic, but we fought the whole time. Should have seen the signs. Well, talking with my mother, she said, where'd you find this guy? Said some people fall in love with the wrong people sometimes. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. You can think that you're in love when you're really just in pain. Some mistakes get made, that's alright, that's okay. In the end it's better for me, that's the moral of the story, babe.